All right, you all. I've been talking and no one said anything. Okay, so I'm just gonna say everything I said again. Just Shabbat Shalom. Welcome to another segment here at Beulah and Temple Kefarym. We're switching the classes today. This afternoon, the afternoon class is going to be this morning, and the morning class will be in the afternoon. We have a guest speaker. So if you haven't yet, please subscribe, please share, and like. As I said before, we have been receiving thoughts from others saying that they are enjoying the messages, the lessons that's being taught. So if you are that individual, please share so others can get the same message. This class, we will be doing the Torah portion, and that is when we go through the scriptures, any scriptures that you may have been in the Torah, that you may have been studying over this past week or so meditating on. You share it, let us know your thoughts, and break down as well after you share the scripture, and we just build from there. I think that's all I said.
Is there anything else you want to add to it?
So please share. The second class, we will do the what we're thankful for. Okay. And with that, we're going to just, did you have anything you wanted to say, Prince?
We have a guest speaker at the second half of class, and he wasn't able to come earlier in class, so we switched everything around, and he'll be coming in later today at the 4 o'clock hour to do a presentation somewhere in that area, to do a presentation. Brother from New York. The brother from New York is going to come and share some information with us. All right, so here we go. Before we move into the lesson, I want to know, Ima, I see you go dark just now, but I need some conversation on this portion. I would like to know what you guys took away from last night's conversation. The class we had last night, the little sit-down conversation we had by the campfire. We had other people all surrounded around the campfire. And we talked about Christianity and how deeply Christianity is affecting our minds, and how we went over several different verses, pulling out different points. But with all these things, there's always an underlining premise. There's always an underlining message. There's always an underlining purpose to all that you do, all that we do. So I would like to know what some of the takeaway was from last night's class. We can discuss that for a few, and then we'll move on. What do you think, Nancy? What you get?
For me, the most thing that that within that message, what was being spoken of throughout the meeting with all of us, is that a lot of things are being attributed in the wrong places. A lot of the scripture is being attributed in the wrong places. Context is being misunderstood. And also, we are not on purpose. I don't believe we're doing it on purpose. I believe that we're doing the best that we can, most of us. But we're regurgitating what has been taught. And then what I've said this a little while ago, if we are supposed to be Israel, if we are supposed to be the people from back then the Most High has dealt with us, the Most High Spirit is amongst us. That wisdom and understanding comes to us when we seek the Most High the proper way. Why are we putting those that are outside of Israel, their understanding of the scriptures above ours? I've said that. We have scholars within our community, but we choose those scholars that's outside of our community. And I believe when we do that, it's bringing it's not bringing a proper understanding of our forefathers. It's something missing, so we're reading text and then we're like, oh, voila, oh, this is what it must mean. This is a deep meaning. We want to go so much into the deeper meaning and not allowing the deeper meaning to just come within us. So these deeper meanings that we're learning from those outside of us, they're missing the elements of what the true message is, the true history, the culture is, bringing everything together. So to just make it plain, I believe that the context is missing. I believe the history is missing, and it's causing those outside of us who we learn Christianity from to supplement whatever they're getting us and telling us this is what's a part of the Tanakh, and this is the aftermath of the Tanakh. So I feel like I said a whole lot of nothing, but that's what I took out of it.
Well, one of the most important things I think you said was that we don't rely on our own scholarship. We are quick, but Israel's been like that for many years, many years. We rely on others and we trust others before we trust ourselves and rely on ourselves. Even ourselves as our own individuals, we will trust what somebody else says before we rely on what we research that we've done. Try to verify, establish a matter. It's sad, but we don't trust ourselves in a lot of cases.
Mm-hmm.
Personally, we don't trust ourselves. And then secularly, we don't trust those who are of us, who have put in the time, the research, and the efforts to better themselves and better their knowledge in this field by studying archaeology, history, science, scriptures, who study these things and come back to us with a greater understanding than what we've never done. A lot of our people barely ever read the entire Tanakh. I'm talking about from cover to cover, with a pen and paper and study and took down notes and carefully criticize and scrutinize everything that they see there. Many of us have never done that. You got people who sit in the seat of leadership or Maureen who have never done that. But yet they will have an opinion that they've heard from someone else that they run with, and they enforce it and teach it. And even if it's disproved, they still hold on to those falsities. And that's sad. But we do have scholars in the midst of us who are learned men who actually put the work, who the Most High Spirit is upon, who elevate in their knowledge and put in the time to understand. It's like with the new moon, when a month begins, and the day and night issue. We have been studying these things for over 20-something years. We have been submitting ourselves to the Creator for over 20-something years. So we go before the Almighty to give us understanding on these matters, and we diligently search these things out. And the Creator gave us information and conclusions on certain matters. We present that to the world. And a lot of Israel, who never did one little inkling of study, just follow the Jewish man with his calendar, whatever the Jewish man says. Not one inkling of study, not one inkling of research, just get up whenever they say a holy day is. Many of us have never done that, but yet we still go with the European man's calendar. And we accept the European man's calendar as fact. And we will argue with those who follow the One Nation Calendar Coalition. We will argue with those, and we will say, this is the way that it should be. Only because of what we learned from traditions of people who lived before us or who walked before us or who we put our trust in. But we never did the research for ourselves. And I'm talking about some serious research. We never put the time in for ourselves to show ourselves approved. So why did I say all that? Because there is another example where we trust the scholarship of others, because the Jewish man had his scholars put that together. We trust the scholarship of others, but when the people look like us that are scholars, we don't want to trust it because they don't know what they're talking about.
Mhm.
But you can't prove them wrong. You haven't proved them wrong. It's just sad how we are as a people. Over and over and over again. I don't have it.
Probably some in the home and go with them to the outhouse and maybe tissue.
All right. You want me to get on?
Yeah, that's on. I meet them. I turn my video off.
All right. Over and over and over again, we will deny the research that our scholars have done, and we rely on someone else's scholars. People who don't even look like us, people who have not good intentions for us in their workings, people who the laws and prophecies of the Most High was not revealed to. The Most High said he has never dealt with another nation like he's dealt with the children of Israel. These are the words of the Most High. He says secret things belonging to him. But those things which have been revealed, like when the day begins, when the sun and the moon and the stars shine to determine when the new month begins, those things that have been revealed to us and our seed forever. Not the Gentiles, but us and our seed forever. Only Israel can determine these very important, stringent matters. We have to stop relying on the Gentiles for our salvation. We do. We have to stop relying on the outsiders, the imposters, for things that are relevant to our survival, things that are relevant to our spiritual return back unto the Most High. We have to learn to trust in the creator of all creation once again. Stop relying on these imposters, these people who claim to be who you are, and you know they're not you, and you still rely on them for all of your information and all of your sources to find your way back spiritually and physically to the Most High King of all creation. Something we have to cease from doing. We have our own scholars. We have our own people in our culture who look just like us, filled with the Spirit just like us, of righteousness and truth, that we have to learn to listen to and pay attention. And even if our own scholars disagree, at least we're trusting in our own people for our eternal salvation. And if those scholars are intelligent enough, they can come together and compile their information and come out with one conclusion. But this is where we start, family. This is how we have to pick this up. So may the Most High be pleased with all of our efforts. And may the Most High bring blessings upon the lives of you all. So what else you get out of that class from last night? It was a strong class. What lasted about 2 hours, hour, 45 minutes, 2 hours, something like that. But it was nice. We sat around the campfire and we had quite a few people out there too. And we was busting it up in those books. Ima, what you get out of that lesson from last night?
Well, I don't read the New Testament, never have. I don't think I really will. But what I did get out of it is that I think people just need to take their time and be patient with their personal spiritual growth and not try to rush into a path that they're not sure that they're ready for. And I think that comes with breaking down the word of whatever they believe in to truly understand if they believe in even that, or is it something that they were just taught for so long that they're just very comfortable in it. You know what I mean? And they believe what they were told, but not necessarily believe it in their spirit. So what I got out of it is that I think too, when it's a discussion, people have to kind of like let go of the personal argument of it, and then be open to just understanding the root of or foundation of what something is, because I think that's a lot of it too. People don't know foundation of where things began or how things have been developed. And so when you don't understand that or you don't know it, it can be very confusing. And then when you hear something different, you have a lot of questions because you haven't even grounded in what you say you truly believe in. if you understand what I'm saying.
Well, what do you mean by the personal?
That would,
Let
Huh?
go of the personal. What do you mean by they gotta let go of the personal?
I didn't hear your question clearly.
What do you mean by they gotta let go of the personal?
You said the first book?
You got a touch screen.
Um,
What do you mean by say they gotta let go of the person?
the personal,
Yes, the person.
meaning like sometimes we attach ourselves to something that necessarily our spirit doesn't really want to be attached to. We attach it physically, saying, okay, this is what I am because it's been taught to me. Like, I'll just use myself as an example. I was born and raised, right, as a Muslim. But then as I grew up, I started feeling within myself that my spirit does not resonate with this way of life. And because I had a family, parents who were open to understanding that each one of us have our own spiritual path, my parents always said, well, if you don't agree with the path that we're taking on spiritually, at a certain age, you can release yourself from that path and go on your journey. And all my life, I did not feel connected to Islam. So when I became 17, the age that my parents said I would be able to matriculate into another spiritual journey for myself, I let my father know. And then I started to search out what my spirit was yearning for. And I explored, went to different churches, all that things. If I would have held on to the personal aspect of it, which was to please my father or please my mother, or to please all the other, Muslim friends I had and things like that, that I would have stayed in that path because it would have been personal where I would have been like, oh, I have to please everybody. So I need to stay connected to them in that way. But I allow my spirit to lead me versus my personal emotional attachment to everybody else. And when I realized I was not spiritually attached to that way of life, I explored different journeys of spirituality until I came into this path, and my spirit was filled up with, the Most High. I can't hear you. I can't hear you. I can't hear you. I can't hear you. No, it's not me. Nope, I can't hear you.
Now, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Something must be wrong with my computer.
Okay.
Coming through clear?
Yes, you're coming clear.
Okay. So how do you tie that to Christianity?
Well, I was saying, I would say for a person who's into Christianity, that's why I said last night, like, go within yourself and find out if that even is what a spirit thrives for. It's like some people, their spirit thrives for that. Like everybody's not. I don't feel like everybody is
You make
everybody.
a noise.
no, they could.
Oh, get it? Okay. I don't feel like everybody is what they may have been um, raised up as. That's why I use myself first, as I was raised as a Muslim, but my spirit was not that. My spirit wanted to go beyond. My spirit wanted to connect to something that was not what my parents introduced me to. So, in the same stead as a Christian, if you grew up as a Christian, but your spirit does not yearn for that, because your spirit knows what it wants, and too. You fight it, because I fought it for a while, but when I came a certain age, I said, okay, this is not what's for me. So as a Christian, which I'm not, I don't know what it is that I am just coming on. Wait.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
All right, my apologies.
Okay.
Go ahead, continue on, please.
I was just saying that I don't know what it is that a spirit is driven to in Christianity. I did go to church at one point after I, denounced being a Muslim, and I went to churches, different ones, to see if that's where my spirit was leading me, and it wasn't. It was it was an emptiness, and so I don't know what it is that Christians feel. But what I would say is what I said earlier was really go and ask the Creator, what's your path, and then really allow your spirit to speak to the Most High. Don't make it a physical, because I think we confuse speaking to the Creator in a physical and spiritual manner. So it's like we think, like how I'm talking to you, we think that's the only way we talk to the Creator. And a lot of times you got to kind of just like rest your vessel and let your spirit speak. And sometimes that means not opening your mouth, but allowing your spirit to just overtake you and have those conversations with the Creator so that He can lead you in the right way that you're supposed to be. So if you grew up Christian, but your spirit really does not dwell in it, and you want to seek more, then you have to let go of the personal attachment to it, which is to the people that introduced you to it, whether it be your parents, your grandparents, your friends, whoever it may be, and allow your spirit to flow so that it can find where it resonates most with and most comfortable, so that you could actually grow with your spirit and not allow your personal to stunt your spirit's spiritual elevation, if that makes sense.
Okay. Okay. Good advice. Good advice. May the Most High be praised. Very good.
And
Okay.
so
I'll try to be brief because I see some extra people came in. I think for the most part too, in addition to what you said and also Princess said, I think that we're growing. I think people that come into the truth, what we call it, are growing, and they're not taught to let things fully go and start back over. When you work at a job, you could be certified as a forklift driver, been driving it for 10 years, and you go to another job, you have to get recertified. You can't utilize that same certification. And you can be the most experienced or way better than anybody else at the other job, and they still make you get recertified before you step on that forklift. Why am I using that as an example? I believe in order to truly grasp whatever we're searching for, we have to restart or reset. And then if you don't want to fully reset, at least challenge what it is you know. Most of us in Israel and in Christianity, we don't challenge what we know. We don't put what our information is on the what's the word I'm looking for? On a chopping block or on a hot seat. That goes for Tanakh only and or New Testament, because even Tanakh only, we still have growing to do. It's people that have been Tanakh only for years, and they're still holding on to what they've been taught. So I think that was a learning experience last night for everyone. I think I'm not gonna put myself in that from a standpoint of what I wanted to just say, but I think for everyone it's a learning experience. And once we can grasp that, hey, we're all still growing and learning, and we're all trying to serve the Most High the best we can. But some of us have to challenge, are we serving the Most High to the best of our ability according to the literature, the context, the history? And last thing I'm gonna say, I think that we confuse spirituality with information.
Talk about it.
So
Tell us what that means.
a lot of us, in my opinion, I did a lesson here a while ago, and I was talking about free spirited. And a lot of us really have this free spirited aspect of the spirit. Most people will, if you bring the word to them, you'll try to bring it. They say, I'm just free spirited. So what they're really doing is they're taking the information that they know and they're applying their information to their life. That's the same thing what we are doing in Yisrael, people in Christianity, people in Israel. We are taking the information of what we believe it to be, things we may have heard from other teachers, adding it to ourselves, and we haven't even did the homework to know if that teacher actually did the study that they needed to gain to teach properly. It's a lot of regurgitation. And that's why I was trying to harp on that Deuteronomy 18 yesterday. But we just got to do what Princess said, kind of let people be where they're at, show them what the information we may have. And I think the Most High is going to, especially if this person is diligent, if this person truly wants to serve the Most High, they're going to grasp what is true in what you're bringing out. So the difference with information it is a different difference with information and of the spirit, in my opinion. It's a different, and I think we got that confused. I think that we take that since we got so much information, that this is a spirit that's working within us. With that, I yield.
A lot of us don't understand the spirit work. We don't. Another thing that a lot of us don't understand is repetition. If you repeat a word, somebody's sight, for a period of time, then you cease. You ask them a question related to that word, and that will be their answer. It becomes a part of their inward being. What am I talking about? With religion, what they've done with religion is they rehearsed it over and over and over and over in our sight. With pictures, billboards, movies, television shows, radio shows, and then pictures that they place all around our homes. We grew up with this, so it's being supplanted within us all of our lives. And then one day we come to realize that this is not who I am. I am such and such and such and such. So when you go out and you finally make that transition to be the person or the individual that you found yourself to be now, because that thing has been implanted in us for so long, we tend to bring that along with us. Sometimes, it's just hard to break. And we fight and fight and fight for so long because we don't want to disappoint, we don't want to let go, we don't want to be confused. So we are fighting and we resist it. But in reality, when you make that transition, you have to make that transition. Why did the children of Israel get kicked out of the Holy Land? What was the reason why we got kicked out?
Idolatry.
Idolatry. So you, me, we should be real careful not to be committing idolatry again, still trying to get back into the land. The only thing holding us up, in my opinion, is us. I think that's what's happening right now. Now, let's move aside the egos that these males have. We got so much ego. Ego is an overwhelming energy right now in the earth. So many men try to dominate the energy of another man by proving he's the boss, he's the captain, he's the king. And my point is right, my point is wrong. And everything you say, it don't matter because I said, and I'm the head honcho rigamadigger. And he just got to have the last day on everything. So when the Unity Shabbat come up, and somebody who doesn't feel that way sends out an invitation to his community, if he don't say it's happening, you ain't got no business being there. And if you're there, and I find out you're there, I'm gonna cut you off. I mean, it's a lot of ways you can look at that equation. But the problem, the overall point that I'm trying to get at is that Israel, one of the problems that we have in spirituality is our ego. We are coming together because the people who are in charge don't know how to work with other people. It's just that simple. It's forget what we believe. What we believe don't mean anything when it comes to the salvation and security of our people. If we don't come together, we're in trouble. We're going to be in trouble. It's going to be harder, much more difficult for us to achieve the ultimate goal that we are supposed to achieve. Extremely difficult. So all of you people who are in the listening audience, who know other Israelite, fellow Israelite members, why don't y'all reach out to them, send them the invite to the class so they can come and hear the video. Send them an invite, whoever it might be, just send them a link. Send them a link to the class, the YouTube, the Facebook, send them a link. And let them know that we are asking for our leadership to get together so that we can change this course that we're on right now. Because if we continue on this course is going to bring about destruction. But I also want you to know that I'm not hooping and hollering for a whole lot of people, because it's not about a lot of people. It's about the spirit of people. People who are committed to the works of the Creator. That's what it's about. In public, in advertisement, when you're selling, let's say you're selling property, real estate, advertisement, whatever you're doing, if you reach out to 100 people, you only expected to get 2 people to advertise, to take a part of what it is that you're doing. So what we're doing right here is we're reaching out to all the Israelite people. So that we get 2 people, we only get the 2 that's supposed to be here. You know what I mean? It's create a willingness to be more than that, because we know that we're not the only ones that's on the Most High's radar. There's a lot of us on the Most High's radar. But if you can reach out to those individuals who you know that we might not even know. You know, I remember one time Israel got mad at me. Some people in Israel got mad at me and formulated this little group and said, hey, this ain't gonna be. This joker smoker, he ain't right. And they said, we ain't talking to him no more. And then everybody who liked them said, yeah, we ain't talking to him no more. And then all of a sudden the Creator said to me, he said, who them? I got a whole nation of Israelites. You ain't got to go to her and kiss nobody but. He said, you ain't got to kiss nobody but. Watch this. He said, stand still. And then all of a sudden, all these people that I never knew, that I never even met, I started having relationships with. And it wasn't because I was going out trying to make anything happen. The Most High was bringing these people right back into the circle. And then guess what? After a little while, them same ones that said, we ain't talking to you, a lot of their people started coming around. And leaving the associations with them. Why is that? What is that? What is it all about? It's because it's about the Most High's glory, not your own. It ain't about Prince. Who am I? I ain't nobody but a servant of the Most High. And if I don't do my job, the Most High remove me and get somebody else, put somebody else in this place. I ain't got nothing to prove to nobody except that I'm a servant of the Most High. You know, I got to prove that to you. No, I got to prove it to the Most High. You know, but it is what it is. And we're going to learn one way or another that this nation is greater, larger than the people you have in your circle. The people you've been knowing all your life is just a small smidgen of the amount of people that the Most High has in reserve. It reminds me of when the prophet Elijah went up and told the Most High, I'm the only prophet left. And the Most High said, what? No, you're not. I got a whole bunch of them. You just don't know them. And at that time, a lot of people I didn't know. And I had to leave a lot of the people that I knew. I had to leave them behind. I had to step away from that circle and go into a whole different universe. And here we are today, doing what we're doing. And the Most High is doing what he's doing, and we're grateful and thankful. And a lot of those people still in the same place where they were, pointing fingers at each other, disrespecting each other, talking bad about each other. No development with each other. Ain't building nothing. Talking is what Israel do. But we got to stop talking, family. We got to bring that communication together, and we got to be able to put it to work to produce things. Because if we're not producing nothing, then what's the purpose? We're lost. And one thing that we need to produce is brotherhood and sisterhood. Because we don't have it. We got clicks. You like me, then no matter what I do, you still like me, all right? That's what we got. Brotherhood and sisterhood is what we need, and not clicks. What is a clique? For example, for a sister, I'm going to talk about a clique. And then we're going to move on. We're going to get started. We're going to move forward. A clique is, if you're a visitor from out of town and you're a sister or brother, and you come into another community, Israelite place, anywhere throughout the world, you're supposed to be able to go freely. And when you arrive at their front door, they're supposed to treat you like a queen or a king. Somebody royalty, specialty. That's how they're supposed to treat you. They're supposed to help you out, give you what you need, make you feel comfortable, offer you the first plate when it comes time to eat, you know? That's not what we get in Israel. For the vast majority of Israel, we get the complete opposite of that. They make you sit in the back. They shun you because they don't know you. They mistreat you. They talk about you. They up in the front gossiping about you because you're in the back. Who's that back there with the long hair, beard, funny looking face? But instead of that, what we're supposed to do is be respectful, honorable. You never know. Angels walk in the midst of us. They do. And they look just like you and me. And they'll come and won't open their mouth and then give a report back to the Creator. What did the Creator say in Genesis, the 19th chapter, the 18th chapter, when he was talking to Abraham? He says, I heard what was going on down there. So I said, let me come and check it out and see if it's true. The Most High has reporting angels and servants that reports back to him. How are we treating the strangers? How are we treating the visitors? Well, when we got a clique, we treat them. But when we got a brotherhood, we recognize our brothers. And we want for our brothers greater than we want for ourselves. And we want for our sisters greater than we want for ourselves. And if each brother has that frame of mind, there will not be one brother or sister that's lacking. If I want for my brother better than I want for myself, and then he wants for his brother better than he wants for himself, and we're doing that, who's going to be lacking? That's the key to our survival. And that's where we make our mistake, because we're selfish. I want for me. I'm going to compile all this money for me, all this wealth for me, all the property for me. I'm going to do for me. And I see my brother over there. I might loan him $20, but you got to give me back my $20 with interest. So in the process of him paying you back, he's still broke. He can't come up. You're not really helping your brother or your sister when you do these things. Well, I'm going to let you live in my house, but I'm going to charge you so I can get a whole lot of money like you and he did. No, you give him what he can afford. You can afford 100, then just give me 100. It's worth 1,500. But if that's my brother, you got to look out for your brother. You know, when I give talks like this, it seems mysteriously, but I always get a phone call from somebody looking for some money. Hey, Prince, they don't mention the class, but every time I have one of these talks like this right here, somebody call me up. Hey, look, I'm trying to do this, man. You think you can help me out? I ain't got one person yet that called me up that borrowed money that paid it back. Not one. I got a whole bunch of them that called me up, borrow money, and I help them out. Those who I'm able to help, if the Creator has me in position to help, I help. I haven't had one pay me back yet. Not one. So what's that all about? That's not brotherhood. And even that, nobody ever called me to see if I needed anything. Yo, you need anything? How's the family? Family good? This brother right here, he texts me. He starts off. Everybody good? Anything all right? I don't know his particular wording, but that's how he do things. If we don't talk in about 2 or 3 days, he's on my phone. Yo, just calling, checking up, making sure you cool. That's brotherhood. You know, he ain't calling talking about, yo, I need to come out. Give me $15. And next week, give me $30. And next week, give me $40. And next week, give me 50. Well, I ain't got no more money. Oh, all right, bang. If he calls and I ain't got, he asking me, how can he help me to get it? This is what brotherhood is about. That's brotherhood. Not using somebody, not abusing the resources that someone else has, but helping to build, staying in communication, looking out for each other, helping to make sure each one's needs are met. That's what it's all about. And we don't do that, family. But, you know, if we have the opportunity to teach and teach it properly, that's what we're going to be doing. That's what we're going to be doing. All right, so let's move forward. We're going to do this portion right here where we're going to start speaking on. We're going to start speaking on the commandments of the Most High. We're going to deal with the commandments of the Almighty. All right? So let's go. And I think you might want to take this over. Yes. We switching the class. Okay. So we're going to do the first portion last and the last portion first. And with all that talking, I want y'all to remember that only a remnant is going to make it. A remnant of a remnant is going to make it to salvation in the manner that the Father has for us to do. So it ain't about large numbers. It's about the purity of your soul. It ain't about large numbers. It's about the purity of your soul. May the Most High be praised. That's it.
All right. Shalom, everyone. Todah for listening in. Todah for your comments in response to what Prince was bringing out. Again, as he's mentioned, we switched to class. Our guest speaker is going to be on the second half. So this portion, we will be going over the Torah portion that we do on the second class. Before we get started, we're going to go into prayer. I'll open us up with prayer, and then we'll get started. All right, here we go.
We go here. Here. You like the light, please?
Morenu, Abinu, Malkinu, Naknu Shonim Labo La Keseshcha, Torah, Malekador. Salak Lanu, Al Kol Toma Shehi, Kaziru Chani Wenefshi. Our Father, our King, our Creator, we ask to approach your throne. Please forgive us for any uncleanness, whether it be spiritual, physical, or mental. Todah, O great King, for waking each and every one of us up this morning. Todah for allowing Ab safe travels when he came back to the land. Todah for keeping those on the land that's sleeping within tents like our forefathers and foremothers did, keeping them safe, keeping them as warm as they could be here. We thank you for keeping us protected. We ask that you continue to keep us protected. We ask that you allow your spirit to be amongst us at all times. Those that are, in your eyes, worthy of it. And for those that may not be, have them cling on to those that are, so that they can learn your ways, so that they can be great in your eyes as your people, so that we can show those around us how we are supposed to serve you, O great King. We ask that you look after those less fortunate, those that had a willing heart but couldn't make it here today. Those that are tuning in on YouTube, on Facebook, we ask that they learn something today, whether it be the Torah portion, whether it be the lesson this morning, or whether it be next class, that can change and shift their life, their ways, and come closer to you. That is the purpose, O great King. We ask that you continue to give us what's needed and not what's wanted. But if you give us what's wanted, we ask that you put on our hearts to do things right and to share with those of your people that need it as well. We give you all the glory and all the praise. Please forgive us for any sins that we may have committed and direct us down the path of righteousness and down the path of desire of wanting to be a remnant of the remnant of great King. We give you all the honor, all the glory, all the praise. Aluet HaKoach HaNiski, Aluet HaEl HaElion. Praise the eternal power. Praise the Most High.
Yeah.
All right. All right. So for those that are just tuning in and or was in for a little while, please make sure you subscribe, share, and like. Please share, subscribe, and like. It's going to be a great day today, as always. So without further ado, if it's any one of you that's online, you can share your scripture. And again, I'll explain it really quickly. The commandments is what we're going over. We can't pick the 10 commandments. Those are baby commandments, what we call it. But just grab commandments that you may have been studying over the week or ones that may have came to your mind today. And you share it, and then you give an explanation of what you think that commandment is speaking on. All right. So we're going to start here first, either on the panel or anyone here in the Knesset or Mishkan. And for those of you that's on, we will share what you say. So whoever would like to go first, please do. All right.
You gotta come up. Maybe on the mic, please. Go ahead. Yeah, we gotta do some setting up to that.
Over here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so my commandment is coming from Bereshit.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, okay. Bereshit or Genesis, chapter 2, verse, I'll do 23. No, I'll do 22 to 25. And then I'll say like which one is the commandment. And I wanted to pick something that we just haven't, I feel like we haven't like really read this as a commandment. So I just wanted to see what the thoughts were. Okay, so it says, and it reads, and the rib which the Most High Power, because we're in chapter 2 now, so we're talking about the actual Creator, and the rib which the Creator had taken from man, made he a woman, and brought her unto the man. And Adam said, this is now bone of my bone, and flesh of my flesh. She shall be called woman, because she was taken out of man. Therefore shall a man leave his father and his mother, and shall cleave unto his wife, and they shall be one flesh. And they were both naked, the man and his wife, and were not ashamed. So the part that I think is a commandment, and please correct me if I'm wrong, of course.
Oh, we will.
Oh, okay. Should I continue or not? Okay. Is verse 24. Therefore a man shall leave his father and his mother and shall cleave unto his wife. Now, as I just read it, I just realized that was Adam talking, I think. So maybe that actually doesn't qualify as a commandment. But so I'll just like continue with my thought and then, So my thought process was, that could be a commandment, because that I believe is what the process should be when a man actually goes and searches for a wife, or when his family does the same thing for him. A man leaving his father and his mother to be on his own, to start his own family and to have his own establishment, a place to put the woman, as we talk about a lot, and shall cleave unto his wife. So being one flesh and coming together in I guess matrimony matrimony under the Creator. So that's what I think is a commandment, but I'm not exactly sure, because I just read it, and I just now it's saying that Adam said it. So maybe it doesn't
Where
qualify.
say Adam said it?
Well, verse 23, it said, Adam said, this is now bone of my bone, flesh of my flesh, and she shall be called woman because she was taken out of man.
That's what
Therefore,
it says, Adam said. That's all it says, Adam said.
but what about the therefore part?
Doesn't mean that Adam is saying that part.
Oh, therefore a man shall leave his. Oh, okay.
Mhm.
So it does qualify.
I would think so.
Okay, great. That's why I brought it up because I feel like we don't really pull commandments from Bereshit a lot. So I wanted to see what would be there. You know, we have a lot of commandments. So I thought that was a good one, and it just reminds us like the process of I guess really for the man in that instance, the process that a man should go through to find a wife and to have a righteous union, right? There's steps.
A lot of people need to follow those steps, right?
A lot of people what?
Need to follow those steps.
I think it would be the wise to do so. I think in today's time it's harder to do because a lot of us weren't raised in this walk of life. And even if you are, sometimes households just do things differently. So I think that as long as there's like an order and structure of some kind within that house, then it should hopefully lead to righteous union, basically. But I think it's definitely harder to do with the way our minds are now, and how we just do things as Black people in general, like Hebrew or not. Like, I think it's just harder for us to do that and follow that structure now. So I think it's important for us to go back and look at how things were before we lost our minds. So
Very good. May the Most High be praised. Very, very good. And thank you for teaching us about this newfound commandment.
it's not a new command.
All right. Told for that. Again, if you're just tuning in, please subscribe, share, and like. And those that's in the audience, please go ahead and share a scripture. We were truly appreciated. You know, we was doing it a little more in previous times. You know, no pressure. But if you can share a scripture and then elaborate on what you think that scripture is saying, and we will share it. Is there anyone else here that may have a scripture that you want to read or share? Anyone here? Or on the panel?
Aim Qatar. We got a commandment.
All righty.
And it goes in line with what Israel was saying earlier this morning. If I can find my commandment because I didn't know it was switched. I didn't do it in between. You have to be prepared every time, huh?
That's right.
All right, my commandment is taken from Leviticus 25 and 35 to 37. It says, if your brother becomes poor and cannot maintain himself with you, you shall support him as though he were a stranger and a sojourner, and he shall live with you. Take no interest from him or profit, but fear your Elohim, that your brother may live peacefully. You shall not lend him your money at interest, nor give him your food for profit. And this is saying just what it's saying. Or people, when our brothers or brethren are in need, we have to do all that we can to support him and his family without expecting anything in return. The Most High will send his blessings upon you if you do as he said. And this is one of his commands, along with many others. And if you do what we are told,
That's right.
make blessing from the Most High. You don't need to look for it anywhere.
me ask you a question, eh? What do you think would be a punishment for someone who does the opposite of that? People who charge usury to their brothers, don't take care of their brothers if they're poor, they make fun of them, they tease them. What could you see how the Most High would cause them to be dealt with?
I think that because we agreed to this command, right? Along with many others, what we do to others is going to be returned back onto our heads
It's a matter of time.
in a matter of time. In a matter of time, it's just going to turn the other way.
Turn about. May the Most High be praised. But you know what happens, family, often is a person with wealth think he's never going to be poor. He don't look toward being poor because he's doing so many wheeling and dealing and conniving and selfishness, so many things that just bring him on his own wealth. He doesn't think he's going to be poor, but the Most High will strip you of all that you got to cause you to suffer because you're not doing the right thing with the wealth that he's blessed you with. See, people have to understand that their wealth is not for them. Their wealth is for the betterment of people. And a lot of people don't understand that. You might be a man sitting on millions, but what good are you if the millions is just for you? And you're not using those funds to help others to come up. And if you're not, then actually the nation will have a much harder and much difficult time developing into a nation like we're supposed to be. Can you imagine if all of us put our wealth together every year? We go get our income tax check, income tax man give us 5,000. We all put, now there's 6 of us. We all put 5,000 together. We got what? Is that $30,000? Every year we take that 30,000 and put it up. How much will we have after about 5 years?
150.
We have enough money to do some things, right?
Mhm.
Now multiply that by 50 of us. If we all took 50 of us and put that 5,000 every year for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, what is it that we couldn't accomplish? What is it that we couldn't accomplish? I don't understand. But Israel don't work like that. But you know who do? The imposters. The imposter Jew. They work like that. They don't, and it don't matter what they think about the other person. They put their monies together and hold on to it for greater cause. We don't. I was reading some literature years ago about this Jewish man. This Jewish man said he can travel the world just because he's Jewish and not have to spend a dime. You know what? Because they take care of themselves. If another Jewish man comes to a Jewish place and he knows he's Jewish, the whole community will take care of him. Put him up. And he can leave that community as long as he leaves in good standards. He can leave that community, go to another community, and they'll take care of him. Put him up. He'll leave there, go to another one, travel, walk, however. Matter of fact, he probably would have to walk because they'd give him a ride. Pay for his ticket, for his train, for his airport. They will do that for their own. We don't. We don't. We don't care enough about ourselves. And the reason why is because we don't love ourselves. We don't love me. Therefore, we don't love ourselves. This is just a reality. But until this changes in our communities, we're not going to get what the Most High has in store for us. Because the Father don't want to take us back with the same mess that he kicked us out for.
Right.
He don't want to do that. He want to see some improvement on our behalf. And thus far, very few of us have shown improvement. Most of us are worried about what we can get, what we can get, what we can get. Not what we can give, what we can give, what we can get. That's what it's supposed to be about. What do you give to the Creator? Anything? Then what do you get from the Creator? Everything. So much to this. It really is. We got a lot to learn, family. We got a lot to learn.
All right. We have some comments. My Isha wife says, it is commanded we honor our Horim parents from our Creator. Our parents are our second creators because without them, we wouldn't be present. To dishonor our parents is to dishonor the Creator and life. So that was hers. Then we have one of Yah's says, I'd never understood why a brother could tax a brother. Using the tactics of the heathen just keeps us divided, down and hateful towards each other.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
All right.
Sister Opal. Zanta, Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom.
All right, you all. Again, for those tuning in, please like, share, and subscribe. Is there anyone else here that would like to bring forth the scripture? Did I see y'all? I only shared what was here. So if anyone has a scripture that they want to present, please, now is the time.
We're going to have to start pulling them out by name. Come on, y'all. We got to keep the flow moving. We're supposed to be running up to the podium to speak on the scripture. Sister Hadass, you got a scripture? Commandment? Come on right here, sis. Stand right there. Just give us a commandment, sis. I know you know a lot of them.
I read it already.
This mind you have.
I read it. I read already what she had. There's nothing else there. Okay, so that wasn't her scripture. She was commenting, I think.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one, sis. That's a good one.
I'm literally reading like, which one? In Zmiyah 21, the laws for the priest. I had questions on how that applies after the temple.
Well, you ain't ready yet. You asking your question, you ain't even ready.
I mean, all of these.
So what one? Just grab one, or two, or three.
I'm interested in 11. So neither shall he go in to any dead body. We'll say, he that is the high priest among his brethren, upon whose head is anointed on before that consecrated put on the garment, shall not nor rend his clothes, neither shall he go in to any dead body, nor defile himself, neither shall he go out of the sanctuary, nor profane the sanctuary of his power, for the crown of the anointing oil of his eloquence upon him. I am the Most High. So I know that some interpretations would say it applies to the extent of even going to funerals, including one's mother and father. So I'm seeking clarification on whether that makes one unclean. Should one not go to funeral at all, or is any memorial for the dead of one's family, or does this specifically apply to the priest of home? Special.
No, go away. No, stay right there. Stay right there. Now that law specifically applies to the high priest, not the priest, the high priest. If you read that verse there, at the beginning of that verse, it speaks about the high priest, he who was head above all. See, the priest could be unclean for his brothers and sisters that were in the family, but the high priest couldn't. The high priest could not be unclean for any reason, for anyone, at any time. He also, you brought out another point there. I'm going to ask you a question. I want to touch on some of the things that we might not have paid attention to. It also says he should not go out of the sanctuary all the days of his life. the high priest. So he always lived in the compounds of where the temple was. Now, of course, that don't mean he should never go out, because the temple actually moved from time to time. The house of worship, the sanctuary, the tent of meetings, the mikdash. It actually moved. So he had to get out at one point until they erected it again. But how everybody else slept in their tents, he slept in that area. Wherever that was at, that's where he slept. Him, his family, everyone. They had a little area that was holy, sacred for them to be in, to dwell in. Now, your question is, do a funeral make you unclean? He couldn't become unclean. So if everybody else went to the funeral and became unclean and touched him, it would make him unclean. So attending a funeral service doesn't make you unclean, as long as you don't touch anybody that touched the body, as long as you don't go to the cemetery or the grave, as long as you don't touch the dead body, then you're not unclean. Just to go and look at a dead body doesn't make you unclean. If you touch the grave, you touch the bone, you touch the person, or you touch somebody who touched those things, you become unclean spiritually. His portion is he can't become unclean because he had to always go before the Most High at the drop of the dime for any reason. And he can't be held back if it's an emergency and a serious situation. He had to be spiritually, ritually clean to present himself before the Creator. A lot of people today leave off spiritual cleanliness when they're dealing with the Almighty. A lot of us do. Matter of fact, in the Christian church, they tell you come as you are. They don't care how you are on your menstrual cycle, touching dead bodies. Matter of fact, they have funerals right in the church. They bring the dead body right in the church and put it at the pulpit, right at the bottom of the altar, and say, hey, come on in, y'all. And then the pallbearers carry him out, take him to the cemetery, and nobody takes a mikdash. Nobody takes a bath. Nobody cleanses themselves. Nobody. And they go home and then they do it again next week with somebody else that died. Some other old lady that was giving them all their money. All right. Any questions, sis?
So, not counting the high priest, if anyone in Israel goes, say, to visit the grave of a loved one, is that permitted? You just can go and not.
All right. Open your books to Numbers 19th chapter. And I would like for you to read, please. Numbers 19 and 1. Read
Great
the whole
question.
chapter, please.
Great question too, brother. That's one of the things we was talking about earlier.
The 19th chapter?
Yes, the 19th chapter. We're going to let the Most High tell us what it is.
Starting at verse 1.
First one.
Can you speak up a little bit? Hold on.
Now, she be way in the back. You can hear her voice. She up in the front. Can't even hear her. She must be getting nervous. You ain't got to be nervous because you standing next to us.
We're in the Midbar, chapter 19.
I like that humility, though. I really do. That's impressive. It's becoming of you. You do a good job. Read on, please.
And the Most High spake unto Moshe and unto Aaron, saying, This is the ordinance of the law which the Most High hath commanded, saying, Speak unto the children of Israel, that they bring thee a red heifer without spot, wherein is no blemish, and upon which never came the yoke. And ye shall give her unto Eleazar the priest, that he may bring her forth without the camp, and one shall slay her before his face. And the priest shall take of her blood with his finger, and sprinkle of her blood directly before the tabernacle of the congregation 7 times. And one shall burn the heifer in his sight, her skin and her flesh and her blood, with her dung shall he burn. And the priest shall take cedar wood and hyssop and scarlet, and cast it into the midst of the burning of the heifer. Then the priest shall wash his clothes, and he shall bathe his flesh in water. Afterwards he shall come into the camp, and the priest shall be unclean until the evening. And he that burneth her shall wash his clothes in water, and bathe his flesh in water, and shall be unclean until the evening. And a man that is clean shall gather up the ashes of the heifer, and lay them up without the camp of the meeting place. And it shall be kept for the congregation of the children of Israel for a water of separation. It is a purification for sin.
So there's a water of separation that is a purification for what? So that water can also remove sin. It's a purifying for sin. No life had to be taken. Nothing had to be, well, it was already killed at once, but that water is now able to remove you of sin. Do y'all follow that? That's a powerful thing. Now watch this, what this water is able to do. Watch this.
And he that gathereth the ashes of the heaven shall wash his clothes and be unclean until the evening. And it shall be unto the children of Israel and unto the stranger that sojourneth among them for a statute. He that toucheth the dead body of any man shall be unclean 7 days.
He that touches the dead body of any man shall be unclean for how long? 7 days. So do they teach that in the house of worship that you go to? That if you touch the dead body of a man, you unclean for 7 days? No. Pastor himself touched the dead body. And he ain't unclean, is he? Yes, he is. He's trying. We don't face.
And even the congregation, many people go up to
That's right.
and lay off.
Kiss him. I used to kiss him. I used to kiss him when I used to go to my brother's, to the funerals when my brothers passed away. I'd give him a kiss, a farewell kiss. That was it. To me, that was an honorable thing. But I didn't know it was making me unclean because I wasn't into spirituality. I didn't know about the Most High on that level. We don't, sis, please. We getting some good stuff right now.
He shall purify himself with it on the 3rd day.
He should purify himself with what? The waters of separation. On the what day?
3rd day.
Uh-huh.
And on the 7th day he shall be clean.
So did he have to sprinkle himself twice or just once?
What?
Okay.
On the 3rd day.
Only on the 3rd day?
Well, reading forward, it says, that if he purifies not himself on the 3rd day,
Okay.
on the 7th day he shall not be.
Okay. Read on.
Whosoever toucheth the dead body of any man that is dead and purifies not himself, defileth the tabernacle of the Most High.
What did it just say?
Whosoever toucheth.
Read it a little louder, please, for the people in the back. They can't hear you.
Whosoever toucheth the dead body of any man that is dead and purifies not himself, defileth the tabernacle of the Most High.
Whoever touches the dead body of a man and doesn't purify himself, defileth the tabernacle of the Most High. How many of us have touched dead bodies and then we go right to the house of worship a week, a day, a month later, a year later, and call ourselves worshiping the Most High? How many of us have touched the dead body of a man and make prayer to the Creator later that day, later that week, later that month? We are unclean. We are defiled. So why would the Most High allow us to enter into his presence in reverence and prayer when we are in a conditional spiritual unclean state and haven't even made an effort to ask him to cleanse us? And we're supposed to be scholars at this. We're supposed to be teachers of the law, representatives of the Creator. But yet we go through a whole life of teaching people about that book, but when it comes to that part, we skip it. And we say, oh, that ain't necessary. In today's time, that's too difficult to do. We don't even go through the motions of doing it. We just jump it and move on to the next part of life. The Creator said, if you touch the dead body, you're unclean. She get into the part where you touch the grave, touch the bone. Even if you enter into a house where somebody died, you're unclean. A house is where people live. So a house is not a hospital. A house is not a medical center. A house is where people live. You know what I mean? Right. Read on, please.
We'll start at the top of the verse. Whosoever toucheth the dead body of any man that is dead and purified by himself, defileth the tabernacle of the Most High, and that soul shall be cut off from Israel.
That soul should be what?
Cut off.
So if you was cut off from the Most High, wouldn't you beg and plead to get back to it? How many times have you made prayer and your prayers felt empty? I know this one man, he was practicing demonology, and then one day he woke up and said he wanted to worship the Creator again. So he came back and he tried to worship the Creator, but he said his prayers was empty. He had no feeling, no sense like he had prior to getting into demonology. His prayers was empty. He felt no connection to the Creator. Y'all don't know how fortunate y'all are. A lot of us, we don't know how fortunate we are that when we get down on our knees at night and make prayer, we can feel a spiritual connection, even on a little point. This man couldn't feel none. He talked about it. He said that went on for a long time because he had given his essence over to the adversarial energy. Lucifer, or the devil, or Satan. 3 different entities. People don't know that. 3 different entities. He had given his energy over unto those energies, and he worshiped them. And then when he woke up one day and tried to come back to the Creator, his energy was spread out. And he couldn't have a relationship with the Most High. I can't understand how people can believe in the adversarial energy, but don't believe in the Most High. Read on, please.
Because the water of separation was not sprinkled upon him, he shall be unclean. His uncleanness is yet upon him still. This is the law. When a man dies in a tent, all that come into the tent, all that is in the tent shall be unclean. And every open vessel which has no covering bound upon it is unclean. This part always interested me because growing up as a child, I used to read slave narratives and different stories of our ancestors in this country during slavery and shortly thereafter. And they would say this, and some people would call it, superstitions, but they would actually say, if anyone dies in the house, you cover the mirrors and you throw out all the water. And so coming into Torah, I was reading this, I said, that's another confirmation. Our people always knew who we were. We knew the law and were practicing these things, but as time went on, some of these practices people would think were just superstition.
That's right. Stop there for a second. You throw out all the water that was in vessels, but you also had to clean the earthly vessels. Anything was made with earth has a spirit. Everything has a spirit. But those things that were made from the earth, you had to cleanse them too if they're in the house, like plates, anything like that, cups, all those things, you had to sprinkle them as well. Everything in the house had to be sprinkled because everything has a spirit. Read on, please.
And whosoever toucheth one that is slain with a sword in the open field, or a dead body, or a bone of man, or a grave,
Anyone who is slain with a sword in his field, they dead, you touch him, you're unclean. The bone of a man, you touch it, you're unclean. The grave of a man, you touch it, you're unclean. Read on, please.
and for an unclean person they shall take the ashes of the burnt heifer, and running water shall be put thereto in a vessel. And a clean person shall take his cup and dip it in the water.
So he didn't have to be a priest. It didn't have to be a man. It only needed to be a clean person. That means that person was spiritually, ritually clean. That's all it meant. Read on, please.
And a clean person shall take his cup and dip it in the water and sprinkle it upon the tent, upon all the vessels, and upon the persons that were there, and upon him that touched a bone, or one slain, or one dead, or a grave. And the clean person shall sprinkle upon the unclean on the third day, and on the seventh day.
How many days?
2.
2 days.
How many days? Yeah. It was 2 in the beginning. It just wasn't clear.
Right.
On the 3rd day and the 7th day, you are to be sprinkled. If you sprinkle on the 3rd day and you don't get sprinkled on the 7th day, you really didn't complete the process. But if you're not sprinkled on the 3rd day and then you come and say, I want to be sprinkled on the 7th day, the Creator say you unclean. You don't, please.
And on the 7th day he shall purify himself, wash his clothes, and bathe himself in water, and shall be clean at evening. But the man that shall be unclean and shall not purify.
That means the one who just ignorantly says, I ain't doing it. That's the one that says, oh yeah, I know what to say, y'all, but we ain't got to do that because we ain't captivity. The man who is unclean and just decides himself and he ain't purifying himself,
that soul shall be cut off from among the congregation because he hath defiled the sanctuary of the Most High.
Because he has defiled the sanctuary of the Most High. What is the sanctuary of the Most High that he has defiled? Because he didn't go into any building. So what was the sanctuary of the Most High that he defiled? His body, himself. That's it, sis. You gotta read them. I think they got the point. Does that answer your question? All right, very well. Yes,
So,
come to the mic, please, so they can hear you, please. Almost make you not want to ask a question, huh? So many people don't know this even exists in the law.
So for our cemetery that we're gonna build here, right? Oh, sorry. For our cemetery that we're gonna build here. I've seen cemeteries where they have like the concrete and you can walk right to the grave and stuff, and they have the tomb and everything like that. Would walking on the concrete be also considered walking on the grave essentially?
No, you gotta walk on the
I'm
grave.
not
You gotta
sure.
step on the grave. If
Okay,
you step on the grave, then you're unclean. But as long as you're walking on a path that's by the grave, then you're not unclean.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's it. I was confused about that.
Very well. Thank you very much.
Mhm.
But this is what I would like to bring light to though. In a lot of our neighborhoods, there are old cemeteries under the ground with no tombstone, and we walking on dead bodies all the time. Don't even know. Say it again? That's right. That's right. That's right. Subdivisions are actually built, housing are actually built on a lot of old cemeteries. I know one in North Philadelphia where they were building an apartment complex for senior citizens. They broke foundation and they started finding dead bodies under the ground where they was buried in caskets. So they had to go and dig up all the dead bodies, remove all the dead bodies that they could find, and then plant those dead bodies somewhere else. That's deep. A lot of these mass graves with large numbers, we don't even know they're there. So that's why we teach that you should constantly be in prayer with the Creator, asking for permission to approach His throne before you just start making prayer. Because you never know. Yes, Penny?
dead.
It is?
Hmm.
Abe said she believes that she heard that the Vatican is built over top of dead bodies.
It was a TV show I was watching, because I'll be watching stuff like that. I don't know if other people do. A TV show dealing with nuns. They had some type of power. I forgot the name of the TV show, but they went to the Vatican and they literally was over a gravesite of dealing with one of the. It was a gravesite. So I just wanted to say that what you said is interesting, because these TV shows and movies sometimes they give it to us. They let us know what's happening. So I think it's interesting you brought that up because I saw that. Mhm. Mhm.
That's deep. All right, let's move on. May the Most High be praised. Thank you, sis, for starting that.
All right. So my Ishad and her
Look, we got people left the room.
yeah, they left.
People left the hell want to hear that. I mean, I'm unclean. Oh man. Now you are, but you should, if you realize today, and I have to put this out here for the family. If you realize today, and this is your first time of hearing this, and or you just realize today that what we're saying is true, if I was you, I would go to the Most High and ask Him for forgiveness. And then I would continue on my life. And every time you approach the Creator, ask the Most High for permission to approach Him. When you're in prayer, when you're in thought, or whatever you're doing, always ask the Most High for permission to make prayer, to approach His throne, because you know that's what prayer is all about. Prayer is about having a conversation with the Creator. And in order to have a conversation with him, spiritually, you are approaching him. So you should ask him for forgiveness and permission to approach him.
Okay. And if I can add, most of us say that the Most High is our king based off the Torah. So if it was a real king, you ask for permission.
You don't just walk into the king. Can you walk to the president and start talking to the president? They won't let you get around him. Well, if you send him a letter and ask for permission, you might get an audience with him.
Okay. So my issue with our explanation, it was with Leviticus 20:9. A person who curses his father or mother must be put to death. Having cursed his father or his mother, his blood is on him. So that was what she had brought out and said, it's commanded we honor our Kefarym from our creator. Our parents are our second creators because without them, we wouldn't be present to dishonor. Our parents is to dishonor the creator and life.
Yes.
I read this part already.
Before you move on.
All right.
Go pull your shot back.
Mhm.
I'm gonna drop a jewel on y'all. And I'm gonna go somewhere where a lot of people might feel a little uncomfortable with me going, but I'm gonna go there. Fact. It's a fact. It is commanded we honor our Kefarym, our parents, from the creator, from our creator. Our parents are our second creators because without them, we wouldn't be present. Beautiful statement. Beautiful statement. May the Most High be praised that she has the type of mind to bring this forward. Then it says, this is the part I want to talk about. To dishonor our parents is to dishonor the creator of life and life. Do y'all understand that? To dishonor your parents will bring down the wrath of the Most High upon your life. He might allow you to be successful and achieve certain things, but he definitely won't deal with you. Definitely. But you know what else is a dishonor to the Creator? For a woman to dishonor her husband. That's the part y'all might not like. Your husband is to be held high in your sight at all times. And for you to disrespect or dishonor him, the Most High will bring down his wrath upon you for dishonoring your husband. A lot of people don't understand that process, but it's a fact. It's a fact. You do not dishonor your husband at no time. It's very unwomanlike to do so, and very unrighteous to do so. A lot of people don't understand that their eternity depends on their relationship with their husband. A lot of married women don't understand that. And that's opening up a can of worms for a whole lot of conversation on another day. But what I'm saying is a fact. And it can be scripturally proven. Scripturally verified. This is why in the ancient days, if a woman, her husband died, or if she was divorced, she would go back to her father's house.
Okay.
You know why? Because a woman always had to have a man as her head. In any way, shape, or form, it was needed and necessary. She always had to have a man as her head. If her husband passed on, or if she was divorced, her husband gave her a bill of divorce, she would go back to her father's house. And this is something else. She didn't take the children with her. The children belong to the husband. So the husband had the responsibility of taking on the children. And let me share with you some of the reasons why. Don't no man want to take care of another man's responsibility. No, in reality, this is a reality. In the animal kingdom, if you bring lion cubs from another man into the pack, the male lion will kill those cubs. And in real life, another man or a real man don't want to, I don't want to do it, have to do it, because that's what our culture has brought about. A lot of women who don't have men in their lives, a lot of children who are fatherless. So we have to take on that responsibility of providing for those fatherless children and those husbandless women. We have to. If not, this nation will crumble. And our women will turn to prostitution and all types of things because you as a man didn't want to step up and do the part. All right? But in reality, it's not something that he want to do, something that he has to do. But it's not pleasurable. So we have to understand that a woman always had to have a covering, a male covering over her life, over her well-beings. In the scriptures, it says, in those days, 7 women shall come to one man, saying, let me be called by your name to take away my reproach. What does that mean? Have we ever even examined it? Have we ever sat down and thought about what that meant? That means that the Creator will allow a man to have more than one wife, but that man had to be of a certain caliber. He had to be a righteous man. He had to be so righteous that his righteousness was recognized by women who needed to be cleansed through him. Just being married to that man takes away your reproach and gives you a new start in life. And a lot of people don't understand. It gives you a new start in life because now anything that belongs to a righteous man, it takes on his spirit because he owns it. It takes on his spirit. The high priest that we spoke about, the priest, the high priest, if he got a bread, a showbread, the most holy thing, and it's laid up for the Most High, and you an Israelite, you can't eat of that holy showbread. You can't eat that bread because you're not a high priest. But if that high priest goes out and purchases a slave, go buy a slave with his money, that slave can eat what you can't. And you were born Hebrew. That slave can be of another nationality, but he can eat that bread. You know why? Because anything you pay your money for, you put your spirit on. And it belongs to you. That's why when a man took a wife, he paid for her because he owned her. But a lot of women today they say, you're misogynistic. I'm biblical correct. That's what I am, not misogynistic. I'm biblically correct. Anything that a man pays for, he owns, is his possession, his spirit is upon it. Therefore, it's covered. That's why the women said to that righteous man, let me be called by your name. Take me in holy matrimony to take away my reproach. What was her reproach? Her reproach could have been just being a single woman of age and not having children. That was shut. You was past the age of 25 and you didn't have children? Man, past the age of 20 in our culture, they would shun you. In Japan, if you're 22, you ain't got no kids, they laughing at you, they're talking about you, they're making fun of you. Here in America, they think it's good for a woman to be 30 years old with no children. No, it's not. That's not womanly. She hasn't experienced a portion of being a wife when she doesn't have children. It's not. It's not an honorable thing. It's not a righteous thing. Our women were fruitful at a young age, very young age, and that's biblical. But a lot of us, our minds are taken so far away from our culture that a lot of things are not explained and expressed to us. Women was pushed into marriage at young ages. Why? So they can reproduce and have children. That's their purpose in life, or part of their purpose. They were pushed to that position. And now we got a lot of women, 30, 35, that ain't got no children. And ain't looking for no husband, ain't thinking about no husband. That's not right. You know why? Because they married to Jesus. A lot of them are. No, it's the truth. I've talked to some of them. I'm married to Jesus. I'm married to the Lord. I don't need no man. You do need a man. The Creator made you to be fruitful so you can multiply in the earth. That was the commandment. Way back in the book of Genesis. So what was her reproach? A lot of women's reproach today, in today's time, is they got children out of wedlock because they ran the streets and had sex with multiple men. Some of those men impregnated them. They didn't stop. This is the part of class that nobody likes to hear, but this is the reality that we got to pay attention to. Because this is our reality in today's world. But nobody wants to hear it. Here's Prince again, talking and stuff. I'm talking reality, talking truth. If there's anything that I say today that's not true, just raise your hand and show me I'm wrong. That's all. We got women today who are in these streets who got multiple children and ain't got a father. No man. They don't have a covering. They have no head. No head. And they don't want it. You know why? Because they're enjoying life the way it is out there in the streets. They think they got to go out and get a job to take care of those children or get on welfare and find a way through the welfare system to take care of those children. And you don't. All you got to do is find yourself a husband, a righteous man, and he can have 3 or 4 wives. If he's going to do the duty of a father to your children and a husband to you, man, you better be thankful the Most High put somebody to have that kind of heart to do something for you. Honestly, 7 women should come to one man and say, let me be called by your name to take away my reproach. And what is her reproach? Maybe she wasn't serving the Creator all of her life. And she realized that she was wicked. She realized that her life wasn't going the way that it should. So that righteous man would direct her steps toward righteousness, toward the Creator. 7 women. A lot of males say, oh man, you only need one wife. Well, the scriptures don't say that. Scriptures permit for a man to have more than one wife. Scriptures allow that. The Creator made a law for a man. If he got more than one wife, one beloved and one hated, and his firstborn son is of the one he disliked the most, not hated like he can't stand you, but it means he loved her less. And she had the firstborn son, and he passes on, he's to leave that one who was hated a double portion of his inheritance. For the simple reason, because he didn't treat him right during life. Because if you got a son from a woman you love, you're going to treat that son better, supposedly, than the son that you got from a woman you don't like. I don't necessarily agree with that. Because the son, the child, the born is of you. You should love all of your children the same. Some might stand out a little bit different, that you might like him a little better because of what he does, but it doesn't matter. He's still your child. So thus saith the Most High. If that is the case, one loved and one like, one love less, then you're still supposed to provide for that child a double portion after your death. So the Most High created laws for a man to have multiple wives. Why don't we say he shouldn't? Also, the Most High told Dawid, he said, he mentioned to Dawid, he said, what did he say? You had all these wives. Why did you have to go steal this man's one wife? He said, if you needed more, all you had to do was ask me, and I gave you more. More what? More wives. He said, I would have gave you more wives. Why would the Creator allow something evil to take place and then support it? Because it's not evil. What's evil is the way that the Europeans got our minds thinking. And to be honest, most men, most males are not really satisfied with one wife. There are some that are. There are a lot that are. But the majority by far, that's why they have what they call cheating. Because a lot of them sneak around and do what they do. They're not honorable. They're not stand up. They're not men who say, this is what I got. I got another wife right here. I got another wife right here. I got a whole nother family. And I'm going to bring y'all together and raise y'all all together as one. A lot of us can't do that because we're weak. And we are afraid afraid that our woman will get mad and leave. All you gotta do is stand up and be a man and say, hey, this is what I'm doing. She don't like it, let her go. But you would be dishonorable to sneak around and commit adultery. You didn't commit adultery, but to sneak around and take another woman and you're enjoying her, having intercourse with her, and got a whole family, even if you ain't got a family, just the simple fact that you got another woman on the side and you're pretending as if you were so in love with your wife, but you ain't got another, you're committing a sin, an abomination before the Creator. But yet you'll show up every Shabbat to the house of worship and talk about praising the Creator. I see y'all falling asleep in here. We're gonna turn these heaters off so y'all stop being so hot. Because the children is gone. Yeah, let's turn the heaters off. I'll get it. Thank you. But the reality is, family, the reality is that every woman should have a man at her head. Everyone. It doesn't matter your age. It doesn't matter what you've done, what you've been through. None of those things matter. Every woman should have a man at her head. One sister here who belongs here with us in our community, she had a conversation, and she says that she asked her husband for a divorce because of some evil things that he did, and it was found out that he was doing some wicked things. So he granted her a divorce. And what she did was she returned back to her father's house. Beautiful thing. That's the way it's supposed to be. She moved from one state all the way back to another state to go back to her father's house. And you know what she said to me? She said that he ain't even my biological father. Beautiful. Do y'all understand what I'm saying? The power, the respect that man got from me was top notch. But the simple fact that she felt comfortable enough to do what the law says and return back to your father's house was a powerful move. Powerful move. Because a lot of young women today, they want to be free. They want to run. They want to rip and do what they want. And they don't want nobody telling them what to do. And that's why they don't return back to their father's house. Because they don't want nobody in authority over them. They can't even have a husband because they don't want the husbands telling them what to do. We have lost our place in today's world. We lost our minds, just like Maisha said earlier. We lost our minds. But we'll get it back together because the Most High is establishing order. He's establishing order. And we either fall in line or get out the way. Fall in line or get out the way. So if y'all got some women around, y'all know some women around that's saying, I don't need no man, don't let that happen. Everyone needs a man. This little show, I don't know, we're going to move on in a second. This show talked about this documentary that I watched this one. I guess we could say it was a documentary. It was talking about in what country was that? I can't remember the country it was. But in this country, all the women striked. 1 million women went on strike in this country for 3 days. And you know what I'm talking about? You know what I'm talking about? For 3 days, all the women went on strike. And the men still went to work. And nothing happened in the city. Nothing changed. The city still functioned. Everything went on business as usual. But the women was all shut down on strike. Well, no women working nowhere. And everything went on. You let the man shut down, and the city will collapse. So, people of color, what I'm talking about is if we get together, we can shut this nation down. All we got to do is cease from what we do on a daily to keep making them rich and keeping them in power. If we cease, they will collapse, and then they'll give us and start paying attention to us and give us what we demand. But if they gave us what we demand, the question is, what is we demanding? Because we ain't demanding nothing. Because we ain't got nobody in position to say, this is what we need. I mean, we doing it on a small level, but who will listen to us? We minute to the majority of the world. We don't mean anything. We're insignificant. Don't need it. But if they gave you reparations, what would you do with your reparations? Be broke again next year. If they gave $300,000 and put in your hand right now, and they relieved your mortgage and relieved your child support and relieved your tuition from college, and so you had $300,000 to do whatever you want to do with it, the average man of color will be broke by next year. Might not even take a whole year. $300,000, and he ain't got no bills to pay. He will be broke. He'll go out and buy a new car. Y'all know how we do. The fly is closed. He'll pay for a round at the bar every night of the week. He will be broke by next year. And the bad part about it is that most of us don't know what to do with money when we get money. Yes, Ima.
So do you think that's the most high doing? I mean, delaying.
You want to come to the mic so they can hear you? Because you might be getting ready to start another firecracker.
I was asking that, I mean, we're very indignant about the reparations that they're giving other nations, but we who built this nation, we're not getting what we, desire. And so I am thinking that, do you think that it's the Most High's doing? Just keeping it back. The reparations, because of the state of mind that we're in. So I'm thinking that because when I look at Israel back then, coming out of Egypt, and he delivered them, reparations came as they were getting ready to leave that land of Egypt, right? We're not ready. We are not ready. Mind, body, spirit, soul is dependent on this nation. So we are not necessarily ready to leave spiritually or physically. So I'm saying that's the Most High is doing. I mean, hardening the hearts of these people towards us because they know more than we do. They know what's going to happen. So
Okay. May the Most High be praised. It's the Most High's will that we ain't getting no revelation. Because all we would do is wait. We won't do the right thing. Not on the majority level. Some of us might do it the best thing with it. On the majority level, we'd be broke. We have new sneakers. We have the latest sneakers. 50 pair of sneakers in our closet. $500 pair of sneakers. We got 50 pairs. Yes? Do you mind? Another firecracker. See another firecracker. She up there and started talking, start a whole new conversation. Come on, firecracker.
Coming back to the matter of women needing a covering, I had a couple of thoughts. As you were speaking, on one aspect, where you said women were pushed, or young women were pushed into marriage, I would gently offer, just to be more palatable for even those out there listening, even an ultimate understanding. It's not because so many people are controversial and they were having arranged marriages and forcing young girls to be married too young. That's the very world. That's one of the things they levy against our beliefs and our culture. But I would gently encourage people to understand it's not so much young women being pushed into marriage, they were prepared. And one thing that I really appreciate about our culture, coming into understanding of our culture, and even other indigenous societies around the world outside of the West, the modern system is against us. Time is against us in the modern system. Even in Asia, the Middle East, young women and young men were prepared. That's the word. They were prepared for marriage at younger ages. They were prepared with practical skills. Young girls, even my daughter's age, would be cooking, cleaning,
There you go.
understanding how
There
to
you
create
go.
natural herbal medicines.
Yep.
Already at a young age, young boys, you know, this back here. Young men, young boys would be prepared. Would understand how to work the land, would understand how to care for the livestock at early ages. And so then being prepared, they would understand the keeping of a family in order with more maturity at a younger age. And of course, biology can support that, because, you know, fertility is more optimal at younger ages. So I think it's important for people, whether in our culture or outside of our culture, to understand the preparation at a younger age is a system of family community order that needs to be restored. And another thought that I had, even with, I believe, you know, I agree, and this is something I've often tried out to the Most High about. Every woman should have needs a covering, and even the most intelligent or even spiritual women need guidance because of our nature. Our nature is fluid. Our minds are fluid. We change over the course of the month, and that's something that a lot of women don't know about ourselves. And coming into this knowledge, even in my field as a doula, understanding the fertility cycle is so important because we don't really understand. We think it's just PMS and mood swinging or something, but our cognition literally changes. Our brain chemistry changes. Our hormonal chemistry changes over the time of the month. And even as you were talking about employment, I personally don't believe women should be in the workplace. And I don't believe even in equal pay. You know, I've met with some controversy on those feelings because even if a woman is in the workplace, it's not fair to the men who are able, just by your hormonal feedback loop, to produce the same to the same capacity every day. A man is able to perform and function to the same capacity every day. A woman, by virtue of our nature, is just not. So you might be 100% productive 1 week out of the month and then go to 80, 60, you're cramping up, you don't feel good, your mood swinging and all this stuff. You're not as productive. So why should a woman get paid the same amount? But that's just my feelings. But more optimally, women shouldn't be in the workplace anyway. And I think even the reliance on the welfare system is a reproach, as you were quoting that verse. That's a shame. That's a reproach. But so many women these days take pride in that and use that. And then the government is their husband. Even more, you said Jesus is people's husband. I find it even more applicable that they think the government is their husband. The government will take care of it. I'm gonna get these food stamps in Section 8. And, you know, that should be a shame to women. But unfortunately, many women are proud of that and utilize that. And, you know, but I believe it's the spirit as well. And that's one thing society doesn't understand. It's really a principality. And even when you go into demonology, you understand entities like Lilith, you know, or if there's different entities and principalities and goddesses. This is the age of the goddess. A lot of women, the self-worship and self-glorification, the idea that you don't need a man is itself a spiritual principality. And I think so many of us need to be educated about that, even the spiritual, you know, the spiritual significance of that. But I agree, you know, I just want to add those thoughts, but I definitely agree. Every woman needs a covering. And, you know, sadly, many don't, but it's important. If we didn't have fathers, we should definitely have other forms of spiritual leaders that's covered.
Do you think that a lot of the women, they know definitely that they need it. They deep down, because that's all right. But is it because of their experience with relationships, because of the experience that they have growing up? what was taught to them? Do you think that may also contribute to
Yes, yes, absolutely. And that's another thing I'm very passionate about. You know, a lot of our people don't understand the generational cycle, generational curses, these cycles of fatherlessness, these cycles of divorce, cycles of domestic violence. You know, people come from homes and then they go through abuse or fatherlessness, and then their mother goes through that, their grandmother. And a lot of times that comes from witchcraft. It just be so many generations that you don't know who did, you know, and these curses fall upon the fourth generation, sometimes fifth, sixth, 11. But the cycles of trauma that are not healed. When you have, unfortunately, some wicked fathers who are abusive or who may molest children or whatever's going on in the home, it's so many intricacies and variables. But again, it just attests to the sickness of our people as a collective. I'm not saying the sickness, but it's the sickness of the separation from Torah and not understanding how the homes and families should be governed by the Most High, by the law of the Most High. And it's a rebellion. So that's actually the main principality. It's a rebellion against the Father, understanding the Most High in his masculinity as the Father. That's there because so many relationships with the Father are broken. And even with the welfare system, again, even with mass incarceration, a lot of us as a collective don't understand the real role of a righteous Father. And that's the rebellion against it. So, yeah, a lot of that affects the decision. Even women who desire a covering, like you said, they're afraid. You know, can be afraid of having a covering because they haven't been given good models of righteous living. It all comes back to Torah.
I wanna mention something about a covering. A lot of people don't understand what a covering is. A covering doesn't mean he has to take you as a wife and be having sex with you or intercourse with you. Please, kind of be mindful we do have children. He doesn't have to have intercourse with you to be a covering. It needs to be a male figure in your life to guide you, to protect you, and to help you when you're in need. He may even be a covering that may help you financially, but he's a covering and not looking for anything intercourseally, promiscuously from you at all. So, you know, when we talk about abuse that you may have experienced from a male in your life in the past, it has nothing to do with having a true covering. Nothing. Because a true covering doesn't mean that this man wants to have an opportunity of intimacy with you. That's not what it means.
But a lot of women don't.
Yeah, that's what I just said. That's how I started that. They need to know that and understand that. They need to understand that. But a lot of males today, minds are so twisted that they couldn't fathom providing and helping somebody without getting something in return. That's the one we're talking about.
And even somewhat tied into that, the irony is so many women, basically the approach of a single woman, most single women or single mothers absolutely turn to prostitution. And then they don't.
We can't hear anything.
I'm back on.
Okay, there we go. Hold on.
All right, there you go. Go ahead, sis.
I was just going to land with this, but ironically, many women who so vehemently embrace the single lifestyle and reject covering, you're still literally dependent on men. You're not doing it yourself. So many women say, I did this by myself, but again, are secretly engaging in various forms of prostitution behind the scenes. So where did you get that from? You know, usually from doing something promiscuous with a man.
All right.
They all need a lot of help.
May the Most High be
Yeah.
praised. Don't worry about it. May the Most High be praised. So all this goes back to the conversation we was having, that a woman should have a cover. Every woman should have a cover. And if she's separated from her husband, because we don't do the boyfriend-girlfriend thing. So if she's separated from her husband, she's to return back to her father's house or get some type of covering over her. And she touched on it real closely and real intimately. The spiritual leader can be your cover. But now, when a lot of people are under the covering of a spiritual leader or a man who is not having intercourse with them in any type of way, a lot of them are rebellious. They want to pick and choose how they're supposed to walk with that spiritual leader or that man. Like, for example, if the man, he ain't your spiritual leader, he's just a male figure providing for you to make sure that you're cool, giving you instructions in life, helping you make sure you make it through the storm, and providing protection from you if you have any difficulty. The moment a pleasure comes in your mind that you want to do, that he advises you against, you're doing what you want to do. And then you still want him to maintain his position of being your puppet, that's a problem. So you have to understand that you got to submit yourself to that individual's authority in your life. That's what the women said when they said, in those days, 7 women shall come to one man, saying, let me be called by your name. We will provide our own clothing. I think they said our own clothing and bread, but let us be called by your name. So these women wasn't broke. They had the means of making money, but they understood that spiritually, they could never be satisfied spiritually because their reproach was on them and they needed to have a male cover. And
I was gonna speak.
they waiting for you right there, hey.
I was gonna speak to the fact that you said that the spiritual leader could be your partner. I know a situation where this young lady, she came to an assembly and she wanted to learn, she soaked up everything. And I mean, she was pretty well off, right? And she believed so much in what was taught, and she looked up to that spiritual leader that in this assembly. And so she gave, but I don't know that the minds of the spiritual leaders are the same. When somebody's looking up to you, they're actually wanting you to cover them.
Say it again?
When they're looking up to you, right, as the spiritual leader or the leader, they are actually wanting you to cover them.
Who are looking to you? The person that's looking up to you?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's correct.
They're wanting you to cover them, but the mindset of our leaders might not be the same. They're not looking at it in that light, you know? And so after
That's a leader that doesn't know his job.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's not, it's what are the laws? What do we go back to? You know, and so I mean, the assembly participated and they did whatever they wanted with her portion, you know, and she was requesting because
What does that mean? They did what they wanted to do with her portion.
well, they were coming together an assembly, and then they were building a community. You understand? But the assembly broke up, right? And so what do you do with the contributions that were meant for the community as a
That's
whole?
where it should go, to the community members.
Yeah, but it didn't. I mean, the portion that was contributed for the community, there was no community. What do you do?
Give it back to the members.
You know, and so that was her mindset at that point. Now, if I contributed and nothing is happening, what do you do?
Stop contributing and find something's happening.
Yeah, but it was not returned.
We would love to have some people that's contributing.
It was
contributing,
not
contributing.
returned. You know, I mean, that was not the mindset of,
Yeah, you gotta get away from that.
you know, that was not the mindset of Lucia. So she was despondent after a while. And so we have things that happen like this that discourage people from joining community. There's a distrust. There's a distrust embedded in the reason why people don't like groups or join groups, because they are just,
Well, thank you, Amy.
If you can go, I'll go after. Yeah.
And to speak to that, a lot of it deals with the understanding of what right ruling is. Because even as you posed a question to the prince, and he said, okay, it goes back to the people. I've known that even before we came into this group, even in Christianity, there were congregations and ministries that we would fellowship with. And we would literally be in service with them. And like I said, they're building great edifice, and they do this, I'm just gonna do this, we get it, you're like, okay, wonderful. And then when you turn around and you see them, once you get to that point, even once you got the edifice, you have the great building. And it's like, not right, I mean, there's a disconnect between what right ruling looks like. And Torah gives us, the example of right ruling. And you see those, we know what honesty is and what dishonesty is. And then when you have these same ones that after they've given, then we've been in these congregations and we've seen these very same leaders that these people love, they give, and they come. We've seen people that have been at their congregation, been at their ministry, and so needs a car, and they were like boom, 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 boom. It's like they just give, and by the time they come to us, they are hurt, broken. Well, my money was taken, this and that. Okay, well, we're going to go feed the homeless. And it's like, well, and we're going to do feed the homeless, but you don't want to give toward that, but you buy them a car.
The pastor.
Yes, we're not asking you to buy them a car. We're going to go feed the homeless. And well, I can do this little bit right here, but you're complaining and you're crying to us because we're taking the time to help and heal you from the wounds that you received there, doctoring you up from the wounds that you received there, and you're pouring out. I gave this, I gave that, I gave this. Well, you see what we're doing. You see what Scripture. Yes, we're feeding the homeless. We're clothing. We have caring hands. We're taking things out to those that are in need. But you're only willing to assist in the limited, and not to mention the fact that we're taking you in, loving you, healing you back up. It almost feels like you get that particular mindset. You get people, it's like you see a boxer that goes into the ring and he's getting beat all to smithereens. And then the ref is like, okay, the thing is going to have this fight, so we need to call this fight. You need to get to the sideline. You need to go to your corner. Like, no, I can go back. I got this. I got it. Wherever you like, no, you can't. But they go back, and the bad thing is they'll go back for that punishment, and they'll turn around. But again, the discipline is examples of like moving. And so when you have these ones that come in, they also will actually literally insult the people. They'll sit there and talk to them stuff that gets stupid. I mean, call them everything on nappy head. You just need this. And here's the thing. I haven't heard anything that Princess said. Okay, so that women need a covering. You need this. You need that. You need this. You need this. Not one time has he said, "Look, because you're too stupid to do it on your own." You're like, I don't even get it like she put your brain in the flat and will fly back. He didn't say anything like that. But come with scripture and show and examples. And so how can that be refuted? But yet, these places. And so like you say, what should be done? They're broken and despondent. And like you said, right, get away from that. Get away from that place. And then when you see a place where there is right, you see a place where the leader is, there's transparency. You see where the funds are going. Every time I walk around this land, it's just almost ridiculous. I'm looking at the spots where the homes are going. I'm looking at the provision that's already been made. And part of it also goes to, and just to speak on this and get out your way, is preparation. Dr. George Bryant has written a book, Post-Traumatic Slavery Syndrome. Mm-hmm. A lot of it that we deal with in our society, especially here in the West, is because if you go to the book, remember that we were once slaves in Israel. We were slaves here. And so, and then you look at Babylonian. We've been in so many different captivities. And then when you look historically, what do our people do? They revert to whatever they were going to in captivity. They are in the wilderness. Free. Look at all this land. We're free. But where's no shame? Okay, let's put together, let's throw in, you bring your gold, bring the wealth that their reparations that they took out, like I said, what would they do with it? They brought in the reparations, and they were going to go, and they went back to what they did when they were in captivity. It's like saying, when you know better, you do better. It's like when you get your mind right, don't go back to that. Once you get your mind right, don't go back to that. And so with that, like I say, having the mind and also to even be free of the system, like I said, the women that came and said, just give us your name. They were women of means. Also, they were women, and one of the things that helps free us from the system is that level of preparation to where we know how to do things with our hands. We know how to make this. If I don't have shoes, can I make shoes? If there's somebody in the community, those that have this common unity, they make shoes. That's why you have a shoemaker over here. But I know how to build guns. I know how to do this. I know how to make knives. I know how to cut wood. I know how to do this. When the community comes together and you self-sustain, you don't need that stuff from outside. Just even the president, we're making them, we're empowering them to make ourselves for. And so I'm going to take my seat there.
May the Most High be praised. Well, he just gave us a recap of the whole class. In what, 5 minutes? He did it well. All right.
I wanted to say something in regards to what everyone has been saying, but I'll try to be quick. So for those that's listening and going back to the initial point of all this, when Prince was talking about dishonoring the father, dishonoring the husband, I'm not going to go into it like that, but I would ask everyone that may not be familiar with this, read Numbers chapter 30.
Yeah, we're going to read it in a couple of weeks. We might get into it today, but I got it.
So Numbers chapter 30 will point the picture as to what Prince is speaking on. You talking about prayers could be removed from the father when the children is in the home, if he's aware of it, and the same thing with the husband. So that's why I believe, Prince can verify if I'm right or wrong, he's bringing out the dishonor. He's putting that dishonor on the same level as the father, because that's the order of how it is. What I wanted to say too, as far as going with Aim Katar, in regards to I talked earlier before you all came in about free spirit and spirit. I think it's the information that everyone is so what's the word I'm looking for? So mesmerized about, captivated about versus spirit. It's a difference between having the spirit of the Most High, being free spirited, and information. So that information is what people in our community is geared towards, and getting so captive, right? Captivated in regards to that. And it's causing them not to find those individuals that have the spirit of understanding within the culture and the law. But then you may have individuals that may be free spirited, right? And believe that they're operating a certain way, and it's causing what we're seeing today. It's just causing what we're seeing today. To sum it up, so Numbers 30 is what I think that a lot of us men and women that may not be familiar as to the responsibility that the father has with his children, what a husband has with his wife or wife and family, and then that same regards goes to a spiritual leader or a leader if he's doing covering too, because that responsibility is there. But we don't view our culture, we don't view this culture the way that it is. Whoever you put over you does have that what's the word I'm looking for when they say authority, but that what Ron Shields be saying a lot as far as with the whole autonomous. Your autonomy is not the same when you come under someone. The autonomy that you had, if you are saying this person is over you, covering you, that autonomy is not the same. That person can actually, if you got a bank account and you have an issue losing money and stuff like that, then they gonna sit down with you, like, okay, let's look at what you have and see how you can structure. These are the type of things that we give. We allow what we want to be allowed. We allow leadership to do what we want to allow them to do versus what leadership is supposed to do, period. We allow, same with the husbands, same, crazy enough, with the father, and he's the reason that you're born outside of the Most High and the wife. So it's a lot of things. This could go so deep, and I just wanted to bring that out in relation to what everyone been saying today.
All right, may the Most High be praised. A lot of conversation, a lot of important conversation. So the portion of class that we're on today is everyone giving their commandment. Albert, did you want to give a commandment? Azante, did you want to give a commandment?
This is Leviticus 19. Somebody grab it. Go ahead, look.
Leviticus 20.
Leviticus 19.
19.
19 and 17. The one that said, that's not something sin find our brother.
You shall not hate your brother in your heart, but you shall reason frankly with your brother, lest you incur sin because of him.
Read it one more time.
You shall not hate your brother in your heart, but you shall reason frankly with your brother, lest you incur sin because of him.
So I brought that scripture out, and the way that you read it was kind of different. Can you just read it one more time? I actually like that.
I can read a different version.
No, read that one more
Okay,
time.
You shall not hate your brother in your heart, but you shall reason frankly with your brother, lest you incur sin because of him.
But then it says, lest you incur sin because of him. I think it's very important, when it comes to understanding how we are to deal with one another. When it comes to any matter, it is for us to hate is a very, very strong ill. It's a very, very strong disliking for. It could be and a lot of it goes into like just pride, ego, things of that nature, which causes us to hate each other, dislike towards each other.
but it also goes to say that we should be able to reason with one another. I heard a lot of people, when I came in, we've been talking about right through. A lot of people have been hurt and have been traumatized through different groups, different leaders, because leaders, not just the leaders, because the congregation a congregation is only a representation of whichever leader or whoever the leader or leaders are. And so all of us have been a part of a congregation. We've been traumatized. People were not right ruling. They were not being true shepherds. And, they were not able to reason. Because a lot of times, sometimes we can come to our leaders, and the leaders can come to the people. And we have not been able to rightfully reason with one another. Without this person cutting this person off, without this person cutting this person off, without this person making anybody feel less, if anything, who they are. We have not been able to properly do these things. And so it says, again, read the last part of it one more time. It started when it says, be able to reason with each other.
But you shall reason frankly with your neighbor, lest you incur sin because of him.
Lest you incur sin because of him. So if we are not able to righteously reason with each other, which is listening, which is paying attention to what both sides are saying, sometimes we may do things that is false. We may bring sin upon ourselves because of us just not being able to reason with one another. And this is not just leaders and people. This is a body. This is all of us. Being able to reason, this is why I said what I said last night. It's a blessing to be able to have conversations amongst everybody, regardless of what everybody brings. Because what happened last night is not, most other places wouldn't be able to do that. And it not turn into, a scuffle of somebody, carrying hate in their heart. And so I think it's very important for us to, understand and be able to reason with each other. And that was just the scripture that just came into my spirit. So yeah, we just being able to reason. But I want to say one other thing when it comes to right reasoning. A lot of times, like I said, when we're a part of we've all been a part of congregation. We can use Christianity. We can use any religion because it's the spirit. Everything is spiritual. Everything is a spiritual thing, and it's in every single religion, every body of people, every system, every structure, all of it. People are hurt and traumatized because, again, Psalm 23 says, "For the Most High is our shepherd; I shall not want." And anytime we are coming up, anytime we are title of leadership, what I'll say is anytime that we are putting ourselves in a position to be a light to the rest of the world, period, we're taking on the spirit of a shepherd. And the true shepherd is always going to leave the 99 for the one, period. A lot of times we're quick to say, all right, they one wander off, and we say, all right, that's cool, go and do your thing. But as a true shepherd, we must always leave the 99 and go after the one. To make sure, because he's lost, he's wandered off. And so a lot of us have been a part of congregation where we may have been lost, they may have felt that we were lost, and they never took the necessary time to find that person, find that individual, see where they went off at, understand who they are as a person before dismissing, before shutting them off, before making them feel less of anything. Because the reality is we all may have a title, we all have these things, but the Creator looks at us as body, people. But He wants us all to be able to love each other, all be able to take care of each other, take care of what He has given us. And that has been His ultimate goal. This is why first it was never to be a king over His people, because He was the king of His people. And we were all supposed to have the same spirit, the same heart, the same pureness to be able to govern ourselves, but we was not able to. And we always looked to what the other nations had. That's why anytime we came out, when we came out of Egypt, He gave us opportunity. He didn't give it to us for us to serve Him. It was for us to be able to have fellowship. Because we've seen the other nations having their own days and feast days and things that they did. So the Creator said, you coming out? All right, cool. I'll give y'all days of y'all own for y'all to be able to still worship me in righteousness. Right? So, like you said, when Moshe left, we was already out there, we was already doing the things that we was not supposed to do. So even in that, the Creator said, okay, now I'm gonna give y'all own house. These are the things that y'all are to keep, you know, and these are all things for you to remember and ponder upon. The things that I've done for you in the beginning, the things that I've done for you, and the things I'm going to continue to do for you, but put those together for us to be able to come together in fellowship and unity and peace and love, period. You know, but it's just we've been a part of congregation where the people have come to have burdens taken off, and people, not just leaders. I'm not talking to just leaders. I'm talking to each of us because we all have a mind. We all have a mind, and we all are responsible to display the image of the Creator. Period. You know, and so, you know, like I said, we've just been a part of a lot of bodies, and you know, this is why it's a blessing to be here. But we have been a part of a lot of bodies, men, women, children, brothers. You know, Christianity, Israelite, Hebrew Israelites, Muslims, regardless, we've all been a part of bodies, not displayed the image. You know what I mean? And that's why we've always been this cycle. History repeated itself over and over. Because we've always thought we were serving the Creator, and we have not been serving the Creator. If we was, he would have said it. We would have been going back and forth into slavery. But that time is coming to an end. But this is the things that we are to learn from the things that are written before us. Because we always was doing things in the physical, but it was always wrong. You can be right, but and not be right. Period. You can be right, but it doesn't mean that you're righteous. Righteousness is the spirit that we must carry. Life is something that is shown. Kind of going into life is something that is shown. When you want somebody to know who the Creator is, you show it to them. We can tell it to them all day long, but the person sees something by it being shown. We try to overcome different people. Every man and woman must overcome themselves. Period. First, we all have a good place on certain time. But like I said, we've had leaders that triumph over the people. You know what I mean? We've had leaders that do say they're doing something with the money and they do something else with it. You know what I'm saying? We've all been hurt in these ways tremendously. You know what I mean? And what we are now is a direct, what is the word we're looking at?
Result? Yeah.
What? Result, yes. It's a direct result of what we have been doing. If we have truly been serving the Creator the way we were supposed to. So, like I said, I want to touch on that because, like I said, there was a lot we were talking about right ruling and you know, leadership and covenant. You know what I mean? Like you said, some people, when we come to people, we come to them, you know, for, you know, to be a spiritual covenant. A woman comes to a body to have a spiritual covenant. You know what I mean? And that person that receives the covering, or not receives the covering, but the people that she's coming to, they don't have, or they don't know how to cover, or they don't know how to properly lead. They don't know how to properly be a shepherd, to take care and to. They don't understand the proper ability. You know what I mean? So like I said, it's just sometimes when people we raise ourselves up, anything we do about ourselves, you know what I mean? That's why we have a lot of bodies. We have a lot of different camps. We have a lot of divisions. We have a lot of different people in different places. You know, but it all stems down to the spirit of righteousness. It stems down to us loving each other, taking care of each other, taking care of what the Creator has given us. Like he said, self-sufficiency. I'm not saying too much because I gotta listen.
Right, can I ask him a question?
Yes, you may.
He did bring out a point that the original intent is for us as a people of the Most High was to reflect the image of the Creator, right?
Mm.
To each other, right? We're gonna know what is that image? What is the image of that that wants reflected within us so that we can.
All right, so one thing that Prince Abba always speaks on is Leviticus 19 being the love chapter. That is the image. Because again, The creator is, he's an essence, but he has spirits, right? So this is what I would say. The image of the creator is something you feel. It's a spirit. It's like wind. You feel it, you don't know where it's coming from, you can't see it, but you know it when you feel it. That's the image. When we show this, when we love our brothers and our sisters and our children and our community and everything that he has given us to enjoy, not worshiping it, but taking care of it, understanding it, learning it, not worshiping it. Giving all reverence and praise to the Creator. When a person can see that and feel a love, feel a compassion, feel a certain energy when they meet you, and they're like, man, I don't know what it is. It's just, you gotta. It's an image, and this is the image of the Creator. We think the image of the Creator is anything physical. It's not a physical thing, but it's a. If I make it, I'm trying to make it. I'm trying to make it without going too long or going into too deep. But simply put, it's an image. It's a feeling. It's a personality. It's a character. It's a character that we must carry as His chosen people to be that light to the rest of the world. And we must carry this spirit, carry this image, carry this personality, to the four corners and to anybody that we meet. So then when they come across you, because we already know that the rest of the world, we already know that there's many spirits in this world. Many of them. Many spirits in this world. But the spirit of the Creator is one that is set apart from them all. And so regardless, we must be able to take care of each other, love each other unconditionally, be able to see each other. I'm gonna leave it at that. Go ahead.
I was asking him that because do you think it's a lifeline that we throw out to others? The reflection of the Creator is like a lifeline to draw them to the Creator.
Oh, okay. So when you say it's a lifeline, then it's a light.
Yeah.
It's a light. That's what it is. It's a light. It's something that.
And what does it do? Does it draw?
It draws the people that's supposed to. Because again, from the beginning of time, it has always been that the Creator has selected a people that He would save, that He would bring back and bring into the new kingdom, right? And so it's a light to show. For some people, it will ignite. Those are the people that receive it, right? They receive it with gladness and they take hold of it. But for some people, the light will burn. So it depends on who you come across. But our job is not to decipher between either. It's only for us to be that light, period. People that it's for, it'll ignite and they'll see it. This is why I say this. The truth is not something we have to say. We show it, people will see it. And they'll say, well, I want to be, that's what I want to be like. You know what I mean? If we come in saying, hey, ruling with the iron fist, you'll never have a problem. Period. That's why the Creator don't even want to rule us like that anymore. Because He don't want to serve Him out of, oh. He called Abraham a friend. The Creator wants us to love Him in that way, to want to serve Him as a friend. That's why right now, you go out and do something, you're not killed right on the spot. Because that's what the law was. But at this point, we can't do that right now. So we can't, nobody's going to be, until we're back in our land, nobody's going to be killed on the spot. But the Creator now wants people that want to serve Him. Not going to force the whole congregation. He wants the people that want to serve Him to serve Him. And so for us, it's best, because we are only vessels. This body is only a vessel for the Spirit of the Creator to house. This is a temple. You know what I mean? And so when we allow that light to shine from without, within, out, for some people it's going to ignite. And they're going to take hold of what they feel and what they know. Because we're now in a state of time where we must know. No longer believe, no longer, you must know. For those that don't know, when they see the light, it's going to blind them, it's going to burn them, they're going to say, get it out of my face. I want it. So, does that answer your question?
Yeah, yes. Me, like, feedback on something.
We don't do pigs. She wanna come up, I think. You can land back.
But the reason reason why you were talking about the lights the light is an essence. However, it's what we do. It's what we do to bring people drawn, right? And that's the light, not just the essence that is thrown out there. You have to draw to the creator. And I wanted to, I usually cut this around. It's in my meditation
Hey,
sometimes
can you come closer to
I
the
do
mic?
some writing. I do some writing in my meditation, and it connected what you were saying about the character. Of we should have the character of our creator. His image is the character that he has. And one of in my meditation, it was based on. Let me see what it is.
Well, you get on that, I'm gonna say one thing, because you are, like you say, it is the draw. That's why I say it draws the people that it's going to draw. But spirit, like I said, not something you see. Spirit is personality. Spirit is thought. Spirit is a characteristic. You know, a certain person got a certain spirit because of how their characteristic, their personality. You know, a person has a type of demonic spirit on, or negative or hatred spirit. Every time you come around them, it's what is the spirit comes out. As heart reflects the face, if what is in a man's heart is going to come out, it's going to reflect anybody.
And so when Moshe was asking the creator to show me who you are, show me your face, in essence, he was actually asking the creator to show me who you are. You know, not only his physical being, but the creator only showed him the light of his character. And he said, Exodus 34, 5-7 says, Most High Creator proclaimed, you know, Most High, Almighty, one merciful, gracious, slow to anger, abounding steadfast love and faithfulness, keeping steadfast love to thousands, forgiving iniquity, transgressions, and sin, but who will know by no means declare the guilty, visiting the iniquity of the fathers on the children and the children to the third and fourth generation. And when I looked at that, I said, "Oh, that is the character that he wants reflected in us. That is his true image. It is his true image." And so I wrote, if you guys would indulge me a little bit, I wrote a little poem. Why I was saying is a lifeline. It is because it was. You throw it out. You throw it out. That's somebody who needs you. That desperately needs him and draw it in. And so we are to throw out those lifelines wherever we go. It is our light, the light of the Most High's character. And I wrote this little poem, and it says, "Throw me the lifeline. Throw me the lifeline of hope and light, that I may see the end from the beginning in this moment in time. That I may not stagger or grope in the darkness like a mind given over to adulterated wine. That my will be infused in the will of its maker. That my intentions will be wrapped up in his truth. That my life will generate life to all whom I've been given, and my lifeline may stay grounded in its roots. Throw me a lifeline of love. Without him, all will cease to exist. The root of our foundation from generation to generation, no other is greater than this. Throw me a lifeline of joy, for in him our souls finds healing. With our hearts electrified, all sorrow subsides and banishes the spirit of steel. Throw me a lifeline of long suffering or patience. With patience, he lends us his favor. Redemption is near, so toss out your fear. Hallelujah, be at awe. What a savior. Throw me a lifeline of peace. It's the center of all earth's affairs. If all embrace this kind spirit, we will certainly live it, and destruction will cease to appear. Now, the lifeline of truth is available to all those who seek he is able. His righteousness revealed, in his kingdom unsealed, for it is within you this life is future. Yes, I am. There's a lot of deep,
Oh, yeah.
deep thoughts that comes out of this poem that I hope you were increased by.
So I just wanted to comment a little bit on what Asante brought out some good things, really good things. And I know he knows what I'm more than likely what I'm going to say. And this is more so for the audience. This is more so for those that may listen back later. I don't believe that he's removing instruction. When you think of when they came out of Mitzrayim, it was said that they was going to keep the Moedim. I wanted them to keep it out there before they left, right? With the instruction, I teach about leaders as you do as far as certain leaders, how things could turn out if leaders are not good. But we also got to remember too, like the Moshe case, he was a good leader, and the people still went left, right? We got to keep that in mind, that balance. Another thing with like the Abraham friend, perfect. I think the desire to want to, that spirit that he's talking about, that spirit that the Most High is wanting us to have is natural, comes natural, but it's a desire to want to keep that instruction. So I believe, and some you all could correct me if I'm wrong, that Abraham was that friend due to that desire of wanting to serve the Most High through the instructions given. I wanted to put that out there because he brought excellent points out, true points out in regards to those topics, the subjects I'm mentioning. But we got to make sure there's some other people that might be listening, like, I don't got to do it now. You know what I'm saying? We got to make sure anywhere when you work a job, you have good supervisors, bad supervisors, but there's instructions there. And you got certain supervisors that's horrible with their staff, and you got good ones that's good with their staff, but it's still instruction there. So I want to keep that balance there. Again, I know he already knows that, but for those that's listening, that is not a thing to run away from instruction. And with that, I pass the mic.
May the Most High be praised. Well, I want to, Dawid, do you want to say something?
You shall not hit the foot of the forbidden tree.
That's good, very good. May the Most High be praised. Well, I want to say something about the first thing that was beautiful, resuscitation, bringing life back into the people with the lifeline. We greatly appreciate that. Did you like the way I threw that twist on resuscitation with the lifeline? It's a beautiful piece. And I hope that people took the depth of it, understood what it was all about. It's greatly needed in our society today. But my brother, you mentioned something about Zante, you present? Well, I'm gonna let you know, I'm not leaving the clock to go get the one. If the one left, the one wanted to leave. So what I would do is I have to get a qualified person to either search him down or take care of the flock while I go get them. You know what I mean? Yeah. I'm not gonna leave all that we've already accomplished, all that we've done, and everybody that's willing to be there for the want that right way. He wanted his life was somewhere else. He wanted to experience something. And you can't make a man do what a man don't want to do. Anybody that want to be there, they're going to be there. If he pack up and leave, either I'm going to leave somebody in charge while I go get him, or I'm going to send somebody great to go get him. And see what his problem is. If he's a brother, if he got to that level of brotherhood, we just got to find out what's wrong. We got to help him and heal him and do whatever we got to do to correct it. If he just somebody, because a lot of people just somebody, and those somebodies turn on you quick. He probably want to build it. Probably didn't want to be there. Probably felt like y'all was too restricting. You can't drink fruit with filtered water in it and all that. Can't drink juice with filtered water, processed, and all that other chemicals in it. He might have felt like he was too demanding on his life and he didn't want to be there. Y'all might be talking about you can't smoke no weed, and he liked to smoke. Can't drink no liquor, and he want to drink. It might be a whole lot of things that he didn't like, but he just left. It had nothing to do with your righteousness. It had nothing to do with you. It had everything to do with him. So when he leaves, if you don't go get him, you send somebody qualified to go get him just to see if you can help. Because everybody can't be helped. So when you wasting all your energy and time and efforts trying to help everybody, sometimes you destroy yourself in the process. And then you destroy yourself in the process, and 99 goes astray and start making golden calves. Think about that story, y'all. Moshe left the people to go get something for the people. He left a man in charge, his brother Aaron, who was given to him by the Creator to help the people. Aaron wasn't strong enough. His trust in the Most High wasn't strong enough. And the people turned Aaron to give them what they wanted. Moshe came back. And Moshe said, hey, what y'all doing? What did Aaron do? He threw the blame on the people. He said, they gave me, I threw it in the fire, and this is what came out. If he didn't fashion it with his hands. But he did. He did what they wanted him to do because of the pressure that they put on him. A real leader ain't gonna fold to the pressure of the people. He's gonna stand on the side of righteousness. And the people might all walk away. And he might be alone. But he's gonna be standing right beside the Creator. So anyway, Moshe left a qualified person there to handle the people, to be a shepherd to the people. But he wasn't enough qualified, and the people ruled him. He didn't rule the people. So what happened was the people reverted back to idolatry. They resorted back to idolatry. But the glorious thing that I like the most about it is that when Moshe came back and the people was committing idolatry, Moshe straightened up the house. And after he straightened up the house, he gave everybody an opportunity to do righteousness. You want to serve the Most High, then stand on this side. And if you want to stay where you at, then you just stay right there. And he gave them time to make up their mind. People started coming over on the side of Moshe, and they was over there. And the people that didn't come over and say, I want to serve the Most High, they want to stay where they was at, he let them stay there. He didn't force them to make that decision. He didn't go and get them and try to drag them back. He said, okay, that's where you want to be. You make that decision. And then he told the priests, get your swords. They got their swords. He said, kill him. Die. A lot of times, that one that left because he wasn't meant to be there. You got to have the skill to understand why people are going through certain things and make a decision, whether you want to help an individual or let that person go. Because a lot of times while you're trying to help somebody, they will destroy you in the process. Because everybody ain't meant to be helped. You give a person a certain amount of opportunities, and then after they fail that certain amount of opportunities, there's nothing else you can do for them. Only the Most High himself can help that individual. And if you keep trying to help them over and over and over and over again, you're neglecting the need of the other 99. So therefore, hello? Hello? So therefore, either you send somebody qualified to go and help the brother and see what's wrong with the brother, if the brother can be helped, get him back, or you go yourself and leave that qualified person to manage the people. But even if you go yourself, you don't waste too much time with that individual. You go there, you knock on his door and say, hey, you home? If he said, yeah, I'm home, but then what's going on? Sit down, you reason, you talk, you work it out, you let him know it's okay. Can we work? Can we work? And if he still doesn't want to come, you can't make him come. Everybody has a decision to make in this matter. And if he is coming, and he's still talking about, but I want to smoke my weed, then that's a problem too. Because whatever the rules are, whatever the laws are, we have to abide by those rules and laws and regulations, else we won't function properly like the people. Let me jump briefly on that. I'll often say to women, from my experiences, I often say to women, if you're in a relationship with a man, and that man says, I don't want you talking to any men from your past life that you used to talk to, but you sneaking around and you're calling those men from your past life, you're sneaking and doing it. When he ain't around, when he ain't looking, or however it is, you might not never get caught, but your spirit will be different in that relationship. That means that you never fully gave yourself to your husband. You're committing spiritual idolatry, spiritual adultery, because those two are related, and a lot of people understand that. So if you're still sneaking around doing things against the rules and regulations, if the rules and regulations were when you entered into that marriage, you've never given yourself to that fully to that relationship. So whose fault is that if that relationship fails? What's going to happen is that sneakiness that you got in you is going to grow, it's going to grow, and it's going to grow, and other problems are going to be created from that situation. And that marriage is going to come to an end. But you're going to look back and say, it was his fault. When in reality, you got 4 other fingers pointing at you saying it was your fault. We don't want to hear that part. Yes?
And so, following what you're saying,
Go to my please, so they can hear you, please.
so following what you're saying, right? If something is established, there's something that is established in a marriage or an agreement. No, on the camera, I don't know.
That's crazy. Y'all can see me, but I can't see myself.
Can you ask them, can I hear you for a second?
Can y'all hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, this move.
Hear my voice?
They should be able to hear.
Okay. So now, I agree with you 100%. My question within me though, if something is established first, and that person comes back and changes it.
Explain it. You just lost me.
All right. So, like you just said, if a husband says to a wife, and he says, "Hey, I don't want you talking to anybody from your past." That's what's established from the beginning, right? Or let's say he says, you can talk to so and such, as long as this is what it is. As long as the boundaries are respected, they don't go across no boundaries, everything's cool. You can do that. And she does it. Can that man then come and say, you know what, never mind, I don't want you to talk to them at all, period?
Absolutely.
And explain.
But he's the man. The man has absolute control over his decisions in that relationship. And it's the wife's job to obey the man. What he can't do, what would be unrighteous for him to do, is punish her if she did what he said not to do and she didn't know that he said not to do. So if he didn't say to her, now I don't want you talking to him at all, but he did say, don't you to talk to him on this level, and she continued to talk on that level, but he now changed his mind, and his mind didn't say to her, and she did it, and he found out he did it, she did it, and she shouldn't punish her for still doing it until the moment that he brought it to her attention.
Right, but the moment that he brings it, now let me change. Let's switch it from a man to wife. When we speak on something, so you're saying it's okay. You're saying that it's okay for us to make an agreement first, and then go back on that same agreement.
That's not, you're just presenting two different situations.
So now I'm just saying, so
It's
brother,
not okay for two to make an agreement and then go back on that agreement. But if you're improving or enhancing that agreement, that's a different story, as long as you make it known. If you don't make it known, then you can't hold anyone accountable.
right,
Yeah. that's
right,
Your
an
amendment.
amendment.
But if you don't make that amendment known, then you're in violation. If you make it known, then that's good.
And you're saying that if you make the amendment known, regardless, period, no period, point blank, everyone must go with that amendment.
Absolutely. If you're the husband and you got 5 wives, 8 wives, 10 wives, however it is, and you modify that amendment, they have to live by it. Now, if you modify that amendment and don't make it known to them, expecting them to do something, then that's wrong. You shouldn't do that.
Y'all switching subject. We talk about the same subject?
Well, I don't know.
Well, okay, let's talk about it.
We see the hands popping up. We're gonna get to y'all.
Yeah, and I'm asking this question because, like I said, because of the examples that you continue to use. Let's say alcohol, right? If you make an agreement that a person can drink alcohol at a certain time under a certain way.
Oh, that's what we're talking about. Okay, go ahead.
So what I'm saying is, I'm only using this because this is your example.
Okay.
So if you say, okay, person can drink alcohol under these certain circumstances, right? Now this is not me pleading for alcohol. This is to get clarity and no confusion. If you say, hey, you can drink alcohol up under these certain terms, as long as these certain boundaries are not broken, I'm cool, I'm good, right? Now this is not man and wife, but this is just,
Let's say community.
yeah, that's community. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
More of a reality.
Right.
of
So I'm
this
saying-
situation.
Right, so I'm saying community-wise, right?
Mhm.
Now, in order for a community to function properly, that community must all have trust within itself, right? Trust is earned respect is given, right? And so in order for a person to truly begin to trust a person, or earning a person's trust, is, like you say, honoring their word. It's hard to trust somebody if they're changing their word continuously.
Let me ask you a question, if I may. What if the changing of the word is not actually doing the opposite of what they said, but the changing of the word is for the betterment of the people? How about that?
Well, no,
See, because what I'm hearing is.
I'm about to answer. I'm about to tell you what I'm saying.
Go ahead.
So now with that, what you saying, okay, what if it's for the betterment of the people?
Because remember you said you got to trust. And you
Right.
gotta earn it, so therefore, the person that's earning the trust is the person who makes the decision.
Right, but trust is being earned on both sides, for the people and for the leader. Because the leader has to trust the people, and the people also have to be able to trust their leaders. And trust is based off of things that are established, right? So like me, if I establish something with you, or we establish something specifically together, and I go back on what I say, that's going to affect your trust within me.
No, only if you go back on what I say, what I said, and we didn't have that conversation, and you just did it sneakily, then yeah, I'll have an issue with that. What if you made it known? I would like to modify that. This is what I'm doing now, and that's a different story. It's a totally different parameter. See, if you do things and expect something from somebody without informing them, then yes, that's a problem. But if you inform the individual, you stepped it up and took it to another level, then I don't feel the problem is just that people,
I'm gonna
listen
show
to
you
this
something
shit.
though. I'm gonna show you.
You've been trying to show me for the last
But
5
I'm saying,
minutes.
right, but are you?
I'll give you another attempt to show me. Go ahead.
Right, so I'm finishing that point. I'm finishing the point of what if you make it to modify for the betterment of the people? I understand where you're coming from. What I am then saying, though, still, because of what has been established from the beginning, you can make, you can go and say, hey, this is what I would like to see, right? And I say the Creator showed you something. The Creator showed you that one day you're going to have a land where all the people, nobody on the land going to be drinking, period. If the Creator showed you that, we must trust in the Creator to bring that to fruition. If the Creator showed us that, I'm not saying this is what I'm saying.
I gotta stand up now.
What I'm saying is this. What has been established from the beginning is still what has been established. Now, people will grow. If people have made an agreement, that hey, we're coming here to be our best versions of ourselves. We have to trust that the Creator has sent them to do that. Now, it may happen in a certain fashion. It may happen in a certain way. But if the Creator showed you that you're going to have a land of people there, nobody's going to do this, nobody's going to do that, then we must trust the Creator to fulfill that. Now, we can try to do it with the all I'm saying is if you establish something first, that the people, I'm saying,
I hear you talking, I'm still not buying.
I mean, it's not something to be bought. It's just,
It is. It's something I have to accept what you're saying, but this is the point. This is what I'm saying to you. Just so you understand, okay? If you're in a situation and you trust your leadership, it's just like a man being in a relationship with a wife. 1 second, sis, I got you. And if your leadership says to you, hey, this is what we got to do, so we want to do it, but hey, that ain't what you said last time. Everything requires change. Nothing remains the same except those things that are stagnant. So we start off one place and then we move to another place. If you trust in your leadership, then you would be, okay, let's do this. If it's not against hurting or harming anyone, for anyone's safety or security, it's only want to help you in the benefit, why not be with it? Tell you why you ain't with it. Why a lot of people are not with it. And I always teach this in class, and here's the challenge right here. As long as people don't interrupt our pleasures in life, then we totally with it. The moment that our pleasures are interrupted, then oh no, this ain't gonna be. Man, listen, if we're not interrupting a person's pleasure, then they totally with you 1,000% from what they want to do. But the moment that challenge comes in and your pleasure is interrupted, oh no longer are you that person no more. I don't like you no more. You was yesterday until you interrupted what I like to do. That's a challenge for you, for every individual to really determine within themselves how much they really respect that leadership. That leadership didn't do anything by saying, okay, we're going to step this up a little bit. That leadership didn't do anything by doing such a thing. To harm, to hurt, or to disrespect anyone. All he did was bump it up a notch. Let me clear this up. Let's stop here, all right? Let's stop here. I want to hear from the sister. I want to hear from Iman, and then I have something to say. Okay? Sis, Iman, hey, you didn't have your hand yet, right? You speak.
No,
Okay.
I think it's talk about it, and then we get this.
Oh, no, we had the discussion, but we're going to deal with it in a minute. Sis, you want to come up and say something, please?
We need a discussion between the people in the group.
Yeah, you can say.
Camera is off.
You want to be able to hear me?
I had something to say before that, but it's all in the Most High's order, just how everything is coming together. So it's kind of goes to the same point anyway. But Brother Zante was saying, I think I agree with what you were saying as far as leadership. And I think part of it is being a woman and having a woman's understanding, and also as a mother, having a mother's understanding. I'll say it like this: trust is trust. So if you discern that you have a good leader or covering or head, you should trust their leadership you should trust their discernment in their decisions. So even if they seem to change their mind, it still is for your good. So just like we talked about earlier, bringing it back full circle with a woman in covering and leadership, a woman should trust her husband. So if he said in one instance, okay, it's okay for you to talk to people in your past, but then I think that was the example Brother Asante said, and then he changes it and says, now you can't talk to them. She would have to trust that perhaps he has discernment or has received revelation, because especially men know other men better than we will. So he may have said it was okay at one point, but then he has a certain discernment. It may be about that man or about the nature of his woman to say, okay, I don't think you might not be able to handle that. And again, that's, even going back to being a mother myself, when you're in a parenthood role, you may say, okay, my child seems mature enough to handle this, or discerning and distinguishing enough to handle this. But then you see, okay, no, they might not have been ready for that. And you change the rules a little bit, or you see where it may be a stumbling block. They still have to trust that you're not being mean or you're not changing your mind just to spite them. But that's part of your discernment as it increases. And then, I always love to talk, with my experiences in different paths and spiritualities, the idolatry and adultery are absolutely the same thing. Because a lot of people don't realize in other religions, you are literally getting married to those deities. In Orisha religion, when you're initiated, they call you Iyawo, which is the bride, literally. And you are getting married to those deities. You have certain expectations. And what's crazy is people will follow those expectations to the T, but then have trouble following Torah. When they say, oh, you can't even sleep with your own physical earthly husband on a certain night because you got to go to the shrine for this Orisha or this deity or this Loa or whatever, they will follow that. And when they say you can't drink alcohol on certain days, or you can't wear certain colors while you're wearing your ritual beads, they will follow that, but then have a problem following Torah and say that our God is so strict. And, it's just so interesting. But idolatry and adultery are literally the same thing. And when you are serving other deities, is because you are literally making blood covenants. We know marriage and physical intimacy itself is a blood covenant. And so, in going back again to that example, when a woman is not letting go of her past, that's the tie, that's the stronghold, that's the soul tie there. Why is she not able to let that go and completely renounce that, just like we are supposed to completely renounce other deities that we've served in the past? Why is she not able to let that go? Why does she still even want to talk to him if he wasn't in the position of leadership? Like, why? It just doesn't make sense. Like, obviously he was incompetent, and that's why you with the new man to begin with. So anyway, it's just, but just like I appreciated Brother Azate's question, and just to kind of, that was my feelings as far as trusting leadership, even if the rules may change to certain nuanced degrees. That's still part of the discernment. The leader will give you what he thinks you can handle at the time, and it may change for the better. He may give you more freedom, so to speak, or more leeway, or he may make things more stringent because he has seen that you have proven you may not be able to handle that. But ultimately, if you discern you have a good leader in recovery, you should trust him.
Very good.
Do you think that because these feast days were made so that all males?
I can't hear you.
Huh? I was gonna say, do you think that these feast days were made so that all males who are head of their household should come together to discuss all the issues that
It's a possibility.
so they can impart it to the household?
That's a possibility.
I mean, these were and of course, scripture said that all males have to come together. Definitely. I mean, whether they bring their wives or anything, but I believe it was made for men mostly because they were the leaders of their household. And of course, there was leadership within leadership, different levels of leadership, and they had to come together to discuss certain issues, and then take it back to their homes. You know, I don't know that as we are right now, that it was then, like the women were into these discussions,
That's correct.
right? They
Agree.
were probably not,
It probably wasn't.
because we were, as I see in some assemblies, separated, right?
Mhm.
Women discuss their own issues, but men who were leaders of their homes were discussing with the leadership all the issues or the what they're supposed to be doing in their homes. That just came to me, and I'm just saying that's probably what is supposed to happen.
Okay, very well. May the Most High be praised. You want to?
Yeah, I was gonna say one more thing, just to clarify what I'm saying. I'm not saying the leader makes decisions based off of being mean, based off of him trying, or based off a person not wanting to let go of certain things. I'm not making my statement based off of that premise. What I'm giving is an understanding of how we operate with each other. That's it. It's not about a person trying to hold on to something they don't want to let go of. You know, anybody that's here on this land, I don't see anybody that has a struggle with addiction. I don't see that. So I'm not saying this to say, oh, people just don't want to let go of it. What I'm saying is, people will always be open to the betterment of their life. I'm saying it's still a way that we operate with each other. That's all I'm saying.
Very well. May the Most High be praised. Okay. Reality of the situation is this. People don't want their peace, their pleasure to be interrupted. If I want to smoke weed in my house, I want to smoke weed. If I want to drink in my house, I want to drink. Whatever I want to do that ain't hurting anybody, I want the ability to do it. But if it comes down to ruling that we can't do something, we shouldn't be challenging that ruling. We should be asking why, and we shouldn't be challenging it or opposing it, because obviously it's for a reason that thing happened. So now, just to make it transparent so everybody knows what's going on, so we don't leave anybody in the dark, because I know a lot of people questioning what's going on. So here it is. Here on Beulah land, Prince set out an order that in the beginning, when we first began this process, is that it was okay for you to smoke weed if you do it in your house. It's okay for you to drink alcohol if you do it in your house, in your own private settings, and nobody else. You don't come out the house drunk. You know, you do it in your own settings. And then it was cool. And then recently, Prince set out a ruling saying no alcohol, no weed permitted on the land, period. Well, that upset the brothers. A lot of people got upset because a lot of people want to be able to drink and smoke and still be committed fully to the movement and what we're doing, to the process of Beulah land and everything that's taking place, and not feel like they have to hide what they wanted to do or not be able to do what they wanted to do freely. I respect that. So this matter was brought to me after I had made the change. Prince, how do we address this? Because you said one thing one time, now you're saying something different, which took the notch up to another level. Which I recognize that it did change, but it didn't change for any ego. It didn't change for any pride. It didn't change for any mean reasons. It only changed for the purity of the people. So that matter was taken to me. Yesterday I went jogging. You know, I do that sometimes. I exercise. So I went jogging yesterday, and I left it out of the hands of the Creator. I took it to the Creator, and I asked the Creator to give me a sign. And if I did not get the sign, then I would come back to the family and I would say, okay, maybe it's not time for that rule to be implemented. So I took my job. My sign was that when I came back, a certain thing would take place. It did not take place. Therefore, that ruling is not time to be implemented. So therefore, if you want to smoke in the privacy of your own home, you have the right to do so. If you want to drink in the privacy of your own home, you have the right to do so. Until the Creator, because he supersedes me, he overrules me. Until he showed me by sign that I was right in this decision, then it'll be done. So as it stands right now, what I said, you can't bring it on the land, has been reversed. It has nothing to do with my mind and the way I think, because before I put a sign, I told the Creator, I think it's best that they don't do it. I asked for the sign, I did not get the sign, so therefore, I have to go back and do what the Creator is telling me to do, to renege on what I just implemented. So if you want to smoke in your homes, do it in your home. You want to drink in your home, do it in your home. Until the Creator shows me something else, then we'll change it. Okay? So now I will take this as a implementing, as a stage of progression to show that things will not just simply change. Matters will be taken before the Creator before they're changed. From this day forward, going forward. That way, we're dealing fair with all people. And that's what this is all about. Dealing fairly with all people. If the Father don't say a matter should be in place, then we just remove it or do without it for a period of time. All right? So that brings it into that conversation. No more undercover talk. We out in the open now?
I didn't hear.
I know y'all didn't hear because y'all probably was key. Y'all probably ain't on that stuff. But the people who do it, they wanted the freedom to be able to do it freely. So now they win. They got that freedom. So the Most High heard your cries. The Most High answered, look at you back there smiling, chin. He can't, you can fix that smile up right now.
It's not, but it's not. No, I'm saying because you just confirmed what I just said.
No, I didn't confirm nothing you said. What I did was, I took it to the Creator. And the Creator showed me my error and told me to don't do it right now. Do it this time. Now, he didn't say when, but he just said not right now.
Right.
So therefore, I had to go back before my people and say, I apologize. I made a mistake. I moved too fast, and I'm asking that y'all will forgive me for moving out of order. Do y'all forgive me? You sure?
Yeah.
Well, why you still coming here? If you forgive me, just leave it alone.
That's what I think one thing. All I'm saying is this. The Creator has told you something.
Yes.
We have to trust him that he's going to do it. That's all I'm saying. When you say you're looking for a creator, like that's all I'm saying. Is that the creator doesn't know what he's with you.
Why you still coming here? Just leave it alone.
Yeah.
If he shows us something, he's going to do it.
Yeah, it wasn't my desire. I truly wanted to keep things in place because I see things differently, but the Creator said, no, that's not how you do it. I don't want that done. So therefore, I have to come back and ask for y'all forgiveness for asking y'all to do something that wasn't approved by the Creator. So please forgive me. It won't happen again. I promise you. The next time I say something that we have to change, it will be because the Creator gave me the sign to change it. And I don't ask for the easy stuff. I ask for difficult things. So that way I know it's only the Creator that's giving me what I'm asking for in those signs. And I don't ask for things that's going to favor my position. I ask for the opposite. So definitely, if he wants it, he's going to let us know that's what he wants. For sure. So go smoke your weed in your house. In your house. Go drink your alcohol in your house. In your house. Not outside, not in the public, and not in the sight of any children, then you fine. Okay?
Can I say something?
Now see?
I gotta say this because there's people watching, and I was trying to be very quiet. For those that's watching, so perception is very, it can destroy and it can build depending on the individual. And no one has been outside. I don't smoke to begin with, so I just want you all to know that. But no one has been outside smoking or drinking. nor from my understanding, I know I only can speak for me, no man was upset. So I just want you all to understand there's people watching. So if we say certain things, they can perceive it the wrong way. And I wouldn't be right. I wouldn't be in my spirit. I wouldn't be right if I don't, just like I did when Ashante spoke and I had to make sure it's balanced. You all have to understand that people can just take whatever you're saying. So no one has been outside drinking. No one has been outside smoking.
Not one person.
No one has been upset. People just brought, what was said. So I have to say that because that's what they heard, the people that's listening. And that's not what we're about here.
No.
So I just wanted to bring that out because we could close this and we can speak, but you all won't know. And I need you all to understand that.
And that's the only reason why I felt like it should be publicly addressed. All that stuff went through my mind, whether we should make it known to the public or we should have it after class. And I elected to have it during the public because we don't hide nothing from nobody. This is what we do. But we have not had one single incident. Somebody came out drunk, somebody came out high that we knew of, and we had an issue. That has not happened. There was no disrespect going on. Everything has been handled in the manner that it's supposed to be handled with respect and honor. Everything, even the differences. We had our discussions. I took it to the Almighty. It came back. Prince, you wrong. So Prince said, please forgive me. Let's move on. All right? I think Prince said.
You got the floor, Princess.
Oh, Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat
I'm
Shalom.
not gonna get to do my law today, but it's fine.
I didn't either.
I did want to say that I definitely agree with the way the discussion is. I'm glad that it was brought out. Ish, I'm glad that you brought it out. I wrote a comment. It's a very humbling experience for a leader to come before the people, whether it's just within ourselves or the entire people even people who are on YouTube or wherever they are watching us, they may consider themselves a part of our community. So I think it's important the example that you just bestowed upon everybody of going, showing your error and then correcting your error. What I would implore to everyone is when that is happening, is we too have to remain humble in the same way that the leadership is remaining, because we're all being the best that we can. We're being examples, but we also have to remember that error does not mean that that's your moment to kind of like feel boastful because a leader admitted that they had an error. It's actually a point too for you to humble yourself, because that's an example of that leadership showing you that it's okay to admit your error, because if we say we're a community and we're a family, we should be comfortable enough to be able to do that in front of one another, and then also be accepting of it, but humbly, because just as that it can, just as something can happen a certain way, it can also be reversed. So we have to understand that as the Most High is leading us, each and every one of us, to become better, to elevate us into a better space, we have to remain humble in every aspect of it, whether we are leadership, whether we are community, family, however it is, whatever your role is, please continue to remain humble in it. Not want to offend the Creator in any manner, but a lot of times we don't understand that we may be doing that. So I just wanted to come off and show my appreciation. And I know Brother Raya is in the comments, and one thing he said that I thought was absolutely the truth. He said this is what good Sheeta. Well, he said a few things. So I'll read it. Thank you, Nasik. He said, this is what good leadership does every level. Just as you raise your children and may establish rules, you have to be, and by 7 p.m., that rule does not stand forever. because children grow, and then also every child doesn't get the same rules sometimes. Might have some that need something a little different. And then what he said towards the end, after my Ish spoke, he said, this is the difference between congregation and community, dealing with judgment and righteousness and dealing with each other's issues. That's so important that people understand, because congregation is more dictatorship if we look at that. And if we are truly building a community, this is where we start. We're going to have differences. We're going to have those that agree, those that don't agree. Believe me, I don't agree with every rule that my Ish or Nasik may come up with, and we discuss it. But I also understand that I may be correct in it and they may change it, but I still have to be humble in them changing a rule, because it's not me I don't look at it as myself as correcting them. I believe that the Most High is putting, his message in me to be able to bring something to light. But that does not give me the big head because I'm like, oh, I was right and you were wrong. So I just feel like at the end of the day, like he said, in righteousness and dealing with each other's issues, we all are going to have different issues, and we have to know how to deal with it in the most uprighteous manner so that our community can continue to thrive. And I actually commend everyone for speaking up for whatever it is that they thought may have been done in error or felt wrong about, because that's the only way we're going to continue to build. So, Toda to you all for doing your part, and Toda to the Creator, most importantly, for allowing us to bring it out and communicate and continue to develop as a family. This is what we're striving to be, a family, and this is part of that. So, Zehu, Shabbat Shalom.
I want to be fair to Prince as well, because he is consistent in what he says. So through his teachings, he always talked about weed, and he said how to affect when you smoke it versus eating it. I'm not too privy to what he was bringing out. Maybe he'll speak more on it. But I remember him saying eating versus smoking. I just want to bring that out because that's what he teaches too. So that's just something to think about.
Yeah, he's correct. It wasn't smoking weed, it was eating weed. He was gonna eat it, not smoke it. Different story, different situation. You're still not to smoke marijuana, but you are allowed to eat it if you're gonna eat it here. So we're not gonna interrupt what a man wants to do in the privacy of his own home. In the privacy of his own home, that's what it is today. All right? Any questions or comments, family, before we close it out? But we're running on fumes right now.
I know we've gone past, but I thought that was really great what you just brought up about the smoking though. And the health benefits of not smoking are so important, because a lot of times these blunts and cigars and everything else that they are selling right now in the stores are laced with so much different chemicals. You don't even really know what you're smoking. They tell you you're getting a pure leaf, but you don't know if it's a pure leaf if you didn't pluck it yourself. Like, I could tell you a pure leaf is so much more potent than what they're giving you. They really wash a lot of that stuff out, so that it's they make it taste better for you, all these different things they do. And I know, like with my dad is in his 70s, and his doctor just recently told him, like, if you're going to consume marijuana, SF, right? Then she told him, you need to either eat it or do the edibles, something like that, because the smoking has torn up his lungs, and he's a musician. And so now my dad can no longer play his saxophone like he loves to do, or his flute, because that tobacco, the stuff that they are making these cigars with now and adding to it, and even some of the SF that people smoke, the marijuana people smoke, it's tearing up your lungs, so it can keep you from doing the things that you love to do. So health-wise, we got to think healthy-wise of, it's a herb, it's a medicine, the Most High has provided it, but we do understand that this world has capitalized off of it. So they're going to do things to it to make it even more attainable for people. So we just like, if we're going to do something, do it in the best manner. Even if you're going to drink, make your wine, make your liquor. Like people do it. You don't have to consume what they put in the stores on these shelves that are already tainted with other things. So I think even that's, I mean, you know, I'm glad you brought that out, because I think the biggest thing is that I know my husband loves, like teaches a lot, is that when you consume what the other people have given you, you have no idea what you're ingesting into your body, which does alter your mind and it alters your body. And in so many ways, it alters your DNA. So, you know, we have to think way beyond just somebody doesn't want me to do it, but why doesn't he want me to, why he or she or they don't want me to do it? And then if it's allowable, what's the best way to do it so that I can still be a figure of, have some type of prominency in my mind and maturity in my mind once I do ingest these things, because it does alter your thought, it alters your sight, a lot of different things. So I just wanted to bring that out. Say who.
All right. Any other comments or questions? We got to wrap it up, family. It's 2:32. We are 32 minutes in. So we're going to call it a break now. We're going to return back at 4 o'clock today. At 4 o'clock today, we have the second portion of our class. We have a guest speaker that's coming in to speak. I think you should be running on that, right?
Oh, yeah, 4 o'clock, you all, guest speaker will be coming in just slightly late, but he will be there. And it's Chief Eleazar. Chief Eleazar, is that correct? Am I saying his name right? Chief Zmiyah. Chief Zmiyah. I should know that because we both got the same name. Bain Eleazar. He will be here with a powerful lesson, so please make sure you come through. Subscribe, share, like. You know, we give it to you raw. And we look forward to having you all later.
So share the video, everyone. Before you leave, share the video on your social media platform, or copy the link and share it in your messengers on your phone with everybody you know. May the Most High be praised.
Shalom.
Shalom, shalom, family. See you all at 4 o'clock.